What is up, party people? It's your boy, Jeffrey from Grown A Geeks. Um, Super excited to be here. Weigh in Wednesday. I know you guys are used to usually seeing Sam start it up, but he's gonna join us in a bit. So, our fearless leader and our other favorite admins will be on in a minute to add to the conversation. So, we'll start with just me. Welcome. If you don't know me, I'm one of the admins from Grown A Geeks, which is a Facebook group. If you click on that QR code right up here where my finger is, go right ahead and click it, and you can see what the group is all about. If you're on YouTube, do us a favor, subscribe, like, smash the like button, all the stuff people have to say. In the beginning, it does help us out a lot. It helps our videos pop up so more people can see it. So, what are we going to start off with this week? Title of the video, let's cancel each other over hot takes. And so I think I'll start with one of mine. I am kind of frustrated with some of the conversation that I'm hearing around Moon Knight and the other Marvel shows. And I do think that this is one of those instances where, I get that people are coming into the IP and the media in a certain way and they're learning about it. There's new people, and I'm glad, and that helps geek them. But I think also, sometimes the wrong people are leading certain conversations. And so if you don't know what you're talking about a character, let's pipe down. And I think it's just unfair because people are comparing them to movies with way different budgets, way different, it's a different medium storytelling. So it's kind of hard to compare the two. I'm going to bring in David right now. David, you're live. What's up?
Hey, yo. What up?
Thank you for rescuing me. That felt super awkward.
Hey, welcome to live streaming.
Yeah, for sure.
Huh? I know she was just here. Oh, okay. Sorry, Linda's getting ready to.
No, it's all good. I understand.
Yeah, we're just sorting out where the kids are going.
That was very cute. She was on her little turtle shell. Mm-hmm. Why do you have all the dogs?
Do you want this dog too?
Yes, I was trying to get him out with me.
They're negotiating dogs.
Yeah, we're negotiating child custody. One sec. But yeah. All right, so yeah, I'm back. Yeah, she's getting ready to come on too.
All right,
we just had to get the children squared away and all that. Rosie's good though. She's good. It's 9:00. It's her bedtime anyway. So whatever. So she's good. Anyway, I popped in on that last end. What we talking about now, buddy?
I was just throwing out one of my hot takes, which is that I feel like a lot of the conversation around some of the Marvel shows is a bit unfair, and some of the people leading the conversations are not people who should be leading how we're thinking and talking about some of these shows, because I do think that I don't think you need to have a comic book base in order to enjoy the Marvel movies. But I do think that if you want to really lead conversations about it, there's no way to fairly talk about or critique it without having some sort of understanding of source material, in my opinion, for your critique to be valid.
That's not unreasonable. I don't know if I call it a hot take. I think that's valid. that might be valid.
Well, I mean, but we do live in the era of everybody's got an opinion, and 140 characters puts us all on the same playing field in some people's eyes. But
yeah, okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. But your initial point is I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't think that's a little valid.
Yeah. We have a comment from Russell. Russell, what's up? Thank you for watching. The last episode of Moon Knight had me lost. I'm David, are you watching or?
I'm not watching just yet.
Okay.
I will. I
Cool.
guess after.
I mean, I'm not going to spoil it anyway because it just came out. But it's interesting because I do think that that's part of the experience. You know what I mean? I think that the characters, the way the show is being edited, and the way they're showing certain effects, it is supposed to be kind of like disorienting because the main character's like life is disoriented, and what he's suffering from is a disorienting experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I've also felt a little bit lost at times in the series, but I also feel like I'm supposed to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like as each episode has gone on, I'm kind of just like, I recognize that this journey is not going to be like a straight path or a straight line. Like, this is not a Captain America story or one of those characters where it kind of feels like, you know, big guy, big gun make bad guy go boom type story. You know, it's like psychological and mythological and all this stuff that.
And I could see that just because knowing what I know of like Moon Knight as a character anyway, I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Oh, excuse me. Hold
on. No, I have to put them on the screen. It's all good. Your comments are showing up. I see them, but I just have to put them on the screen.
Yeah, we see the comments. Just it's just like that. It's
how you make sure just anything doesn't go up.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay.
All right. Well, then I guess I'm gonna have to dig a little bit deeper for my hot take. I'll think about this as I bring in another one of our friends, Linda. Hello. How are you?
I am looking like a gremlin today, but I'm here.
She's lying, but okay.
I've got a dog. I've got a drink that I can't open.
Oh Lord.
You can't open it, David. Hold on. I got it. Hold on. There we go. Twist off my ass.
What up, Facebook user? I don't know who.
Facebook.
Sorry,
user.
Hello.
You can pull it up here.
I try and have it pulled up on a separate page or a separate thingamajigger.
Oh, that's Roberto.
Oh, Roberto. Hello, Roberto. Maybe one day Roberto will join us for one of these as well.
Maybe.
He has one of those jobs that requires a lot of time.
One of those jobs. Oh, those are gross.
So, hot takes.
Hot takes.
Let's get to them.
I don't have one, honestly.
Hold on. Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. M. Night is just Thriller Zack Snyder.
Oh yeah, let's get into it. Everybody know how I feel about M. Night.
That's hilarious. I love that one.
That fool took that plot twist ending and sent his kids to college with that.
That is amazing. I kind of hate that, but I kind of love it. I kind of love that.
I love it because it riles up two fan bases that I can't stand.
Oh shit, that's funny. All right, I got one here, and this is my usual go-to hot take. You know, I've been canceled on anime Twitter for this several times, so this is my bread and butter. So One Piece is ugly as sin and half as interesting.
Oof.
See, that's not really a hot take, though. The hot take is that Avatar would have been better and Teen Titans if they had done it in traditional American animation, or if it had actually been done by a Japanese studio.
See, that's a hot take right there. That's a hot take.
Right, Jack?
That's a hot take.
See, he agrees.
Like, I could see, honestly, I could agree with you with Teen Titans, but I cannot agree with you on.
Now, David, I thought you were gonna say the whole thing with Sailor Moon is more powerful than Goku.
No, because that's not a hot take. That's not unreasonable to say. That's not unreasonable.
That's a fact that the only people who argue against it are children.
Yeah, so that's not a hot take. That's just facts. Like, what?
Let's see how long Jack stays on my shoulder.
We don't speak ill of Avatar here, ma'am. Hey, don't come to my house, man.
You know what?
I mean,
I'd probably be able to read through like a book series for Avatar, but I cannot get over the horrible animation style.
I would say that I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna throw my Avatar hot take.
Oh no, here we go.
Without Avatar, anime would not be as popular in America as
okay.
it is.
Now you're wilding.
No. Let me explain because
nah.
I'm gonna just say
Hi, baby.
it introduced a lot of people, a lot of kids to that art style.
Okay. All right.
At a very young age where most anime was not appropriate to really be showing them. And as they got older, even though Avatar is it is paying homage to like anime, but it is not anime. And I'm never gonna like argue, like I understand like the technicality of it, but the connections in my opinion are obvious enough to anime to where if you were a kid and you watched Avatar, like getting into like another anime or something like that is a lot easier because you've taken a journey of that was kind of like a half of each, like a little, it was a baby step or the missing link between like American and Japanese style animation styles.
What did he say? I never watched Avatar unless you count James Cameron movie. What?
What? Oh, you mean the good Avatar, or you mean the live action movie?
No.
The rip off of Dances with Wolves.
God, right?
Dances with Wolves in space.
Oh my God! Somebody else finally said it. David, holy shit!
David, you realize if we ever have children, I'm gonna show them the live action Avatar.
Don't
and
you
be like, this
dare.
is it. And because it's the first introduction to
don't you dare.
the kids are gonna fall in love with it.
No,
because if you don't know anything about the actual cartoon, then the live action movie is like, okay,
not my children.
Sure, that's fine.
Not
and they're gonna always pronounce the main character's name wrong.
Not my children. Nah.
Yeah.
That's a
it's your children, David.
That's
technically our children. I'm the one who baked. I'd be the one who baked them. So.
Okay. All right. I got something. I got something here. Hunter x Hunter is mid. It's mid as fuck. I don't know why everybody love Hunter x Hunter so much. It's got one good arc. It's terrible. It's so mid. I can't believe people love this anime. Hunter x Hunter is so mid, and it has like the worst protagonist ever. Gon is the worst protagonist I've ever seen in an anime ever.
Actually, David.
Yo.
I got something for you, okay?
Nah, I don't want it.
Because I'm too like I've been too crazy this week to come up with my own stuff. So I just Googled Mass Effect hot takes.
Don't you do this to me.
And I came across a Reddit post.
Don't do this.
That Shep is a really good dancer, but does the shepherd shuffle as to not upstage the dance floor. There you go. No?
That's not unreasonable. No, never mind. That's not unreasonable.
Mass Effect 3 was really well done, an engaging finale to Shepard's journey. The ending, although a bit disappointing, wasn't as bad as people say and reminded me of old strange sci-fi. That sounds exactly like something you
That's
said.
not unreasonable. That's not unreasonable to say.
Your hot take about that. Is this you? Are you this person on
years.
Reddit? Are you Sun and Shine? Is that you?
Secret
You found my burner account. Found it. Okay. That's not unreasonable. That's not.
I never had a problem with the destroy/control ending per se, though I do think the synthesis one is dumb though. My problem with the ending is it's full of plot holes and the sequencing of the cinematics. Like, why does the beam lead directly to the room controlling the Citadel's arms? Why do Shepard and Anderson decide to have a nice conversation while Alliance ships are blowing up around them and they don't know whether the Crucible worked? Why do the Reapers not attack the Crucible at all? I also hate the Star Child. I think the choices could have been presented to the player while building the Crucible, like a throwaway convo by Tim/Hackett, that the Crucible can control the Reapers, and then a modifier applied to your final EMS, depending on whether you sent resources that help the control or destroy the functions of the Crucible.
All right, that whole point is bullshit. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the whole game is presenting you with the choices. It is telling you explicitly that you have the option to control the Reapers or destroy them, but there is also a third option. Like that is a terrible take. That is a terrible take from somebody who barely paid attention. And we're not gonna make this a Mass Effect. We're not gonna make this a Mass Effect Wednesday.
Well, I also pulled one with that's just like video game stuff too. So, but I'll let you guys talk, and then I'll come back around with mine.
All right, man. What you got?
What do I have? The world would be a better place if Star Trek was more popular than Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely.
That's not unreasonable. That's not unreasonable.
That's once again, that's an opinion, or that's a fact, and is only debated by children. That's just how that is.
If they had put laser swords in Star Trek, it would be just as popular. Oh, I have a Star Wars one after this too.
You know the funny thing about the whole like Star Trek is kind of better than Star Wars. It even in its own like universe, nobody gives a fuck about the Jedis or the Sith.
Yeah.
Like nobody gives a fuck about the space wizards. They're just like everybody's like, how do you feel about the council and the Sith war? It's like, what? No, I don't fucking care. Like what?
Right.
No. Like people are actively just so fucking done with the space wizards.
Okay, so Star Wars fans that like Star Trek, why is their favorite season of Star Trek always the first season, the first series with Kirk?
Because he's the worst captain.
Exactly. He is the worst captain and the only one who thinks like a Star Wars character of shoot first and ask questions later. And that panders to the infantile minds of Star Wars fans. Thank you.
Fuck out of here.
I 100% agree.
Oh, I'm getting out of here.
I'm
not taking me down with y'all. Not this one.
He's the worst captain.
Picard is the best captain, or one of the best captains. Picard is tied.
I mean, I agree, but I'm not gonna be out here when they come for your blood. I'm not gonna be.
I mean, I don't even think Picard is the best captain.
Are there more captains?
Picard and Janeway.
I don't watch.
I think Janeway is the best captain. Because she did what she did without violating the Prime Directive as many times as Picard, and she was actually boldly going. Like half the planets that Picard went to, we already been there.
Plus she's played by Kate Mulgrew, who is like the best. David, you know her as Red?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, same person.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. What the hell?
Didn't care about Starfleet regulations.
How did I know? How did I not know about this?
Yes, it's go Google Kate Mulgrew.
Hold on, I'm about to. Ain't no fucking way. Hold up.
It's Red.
What?
Yeah, it's Red from
ain't no fucking way.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm about to go watch me some Star Trek.
It's such a good series.
That's actually my mom's favorite series is Voyager.
Which one?
I think it got overlooked just because it was on UPN, and the other programming on UPN did not.
That and because it's the female captain. So
yeah,
which one is this?
This is not like
Voyager?
Doctor Who where it's a throwaway thing. Like this being like a female captain, she did a great job.
Is that on Hulu? Can I watch that?
No one cares about Cisco. I don't even remember.
Wait. I care about Cisco.
Go ahead. Care about Cisco all you want.
Cisco was amazing. Deep Space Nine gets slept on. Without Deep Space Nine, we don't have all this serialized television that we have now that's winning all these games.
I didn't care for Deep Space Nine.
Cisco got a raw deal. I think Deep Space Nine is one of those ones where it's like if you were coming to a Star Trek show looking to go from planet to planet, that ain't what this is. This is literally like a post-war like social project, and it's like it's basically like what was happening in the USSR.
Oh, say less. It's on Prime. Okay, bet.
Yeah, David, you can go watch. We can okay. So I grew up watching Star Trek in the 90s with my parents.
I
So we
didn't-
watched a lot of Generation, obviously, because that's what was on.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a lot of the original because I didn't care for it. I never really cared for it. My
Yeah.
dad loves the original. My mom's favorite is Voyager. My favorite is Next Generation, obviously, because that's the one I grew up with. Also, I love Worf. He's my favorite Star Trek character.
Yeah.
So Worf was
Maybe
great,
just
so.
fast forward to the seasons when Worf comes to D Space Nine.
There you go. That's
Okay.
No,
No.
I think he
put
he
me
comes
off-
like season 3 or something like that.
What put me off with Deep Space Nine, and you have to keep in mind my age when that was out as well.
Mhm.
Because I was born in the late 80s, so it kind of puts
Yeah.
you how old I was around that time. So the reason why I didn't care for Deep Space Nine is that the way it was marketed was they went in a completely opposite direction from Next Generation, where Next Generation was very much marketed as a sci-fi show based on like what's going on in this episode. And like Deep Space Nine was very much marketed as more of a sexual thing. And at my age, I'm like, that I was at the time, I'm like, I'm not interested in this at all. Nope. I was also raised in a very conservative Christian household. So like literally I didn't even have my first crush, like celebrity crush, until like I was 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah. I
Pretty much
get
completely asexual until then. So whenever they did all that stuff with Deep Space Nine, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah. I think I finished Deep Space Nine like last year. Like I just started watching it, and it was a little difficult, I think, in the beginning because it's so different from like every other Star Trek series, because you're not on a ship, you're not traveling, you're not going from like planet to planet. But like once I got into it, there was definitely like a lot of really, really good and interesting arcs that happened throughout the show, that actually like have larger implications in like the Star Trek universe as a whole too. So and also, yeah, I'll agree with Russell's comment. It definitely did have it kind of introduced more like overt like LGBTQ and inclusivity concepts into the Star Trek universe. Whereas now, even on Discovery, like Discovery's got like everything, but you know, with the trills and all that.
David's kind of lost right now at this. So David, to give you perspective with Deep Space Nine, you know how I feel about Diamond is Unbreakable?
Yes.
Deep Space Nine is Star Trek's Diamond is Unbreakable.
Oh, so I might like it.
You might actually like it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just me. It's just me.
Okay, gotcha. Which I mean, that again, not unreasonable, because Diamond is Unbreakable is not like, I will be the first one to say like it's not the best JoJo part.
It has some great characters and good potential with it. However, it doesn't really go anywhere. But it does introduce important aspects into the series, which plays an important role later on.
Are you talking about Deep Space Nine or Diamond is Unbreakable? Okay.
Both.
gotta make that distinction, because you were losing me for a second. I was like, wait a minute, which one is she talking about?
Both of them. Yes. That's why I said it's Star Trek's Diamond is Unbreakable. Gotcha. For those of you guys who don't know, we're talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So, and Star Trek. So that's Diamond is Unbreakable is JoJo. Okay, so what was it? I had one. Where did it go? And I don't think this is a hot take. Someone on Reddit put Monster Hunter is the best cooperative experience I've had in any co-op game.
That's not a hot take. That's not a hot take. That's facts.
You have to.
It's up there. It's really like Monster Hunter is up there. What's better than like getting your friends to beat down giant monkey gorilla dinosaurs? Like,
this person in general just kind of has really bad hot takes. They're either not hot takes at all, or like that's just a really crappy opinion. Not even a hot take, because there's a hot take has to have some kind of like merit behind it. Something like, you know what, I don't like that, but I can't disagree. You know, this person put the Wii U is one of the best Nintendo consoles of all time. It just had a terrible launch. I'm like, no, that's the Dreamcast. Thank you. Wii U did have a bad launch. It had bad marketing. That's the reason why it failed. But it relied too heavily on the gimmick. of the Wii U pad and everything. It had some great potential. However, like I said, it relied too heavily into the gimmick, and the gimmick didn't
it was
work
set
well
to
enough
die.
and didn't integrate well enough to be the main focus of the console,
It was
unlike
set to
the
die,
Wii.
Yeah.
His next thing, Fortnite is an okay game.
That's not unreasonable. It's not.
That,
It's not unreasonable. No. Now, hear me out. And this is coming from somebody who can't stand Fortnite. I can't stand Fortnite. I still also have to try like the zero build thing, whatever. But
I mean, I can't say too much because I've never played Fortnite. I've had literally zero.
It's not bad. Like Fortnite as a game is not bad. The community is ass.
So it's League of Legends, sure.
The Fortnite community is ass, and I say that because Ninja is like leading that shit, and you know how I feel about Ninja. I hate that.
Just a lot of the people I've known that have been huge Fortnite fans have been major assholes.
That's
why
people say that's why Fortnite
worst.
is bad. It's not because of the game itself, because the game functions and at its core, it's fun.
It attracts like narcissistic pieces of shit.
It attracts the worst of humanity.
Okay, so the next thing it says Animal Crossing is the most overrated game series of all time. There's nothing relaxing or fun in this game. It's just boring as hell. This definitely sounds like someone who plays Fortnite. I prefer the Dante from the reboot much more than the Dante in the original games. I'm like,
honest. Okay, hear me out.
If this was the early 2000s, sure.
Hear me out though. Hear me out. DMC was actually not a bad game. It wasn't. It was just different, and people didn't like it. They don't like change.
So his next one, and I agree with this next one. The Last of Us AI and gameplay are the reasons I didn't like the game, but the story and the ambiance is incredible. That's somewhat fair. Plus, the game was kind of broken.
Yeah,
the first one. I'm not talking about the second one. The first one.
Yeah.
I had multiple times where I had to reset and replay entire arcs of the game because it would glitch out.
All right. I got one. This might not be a hot take, but I've been carrying this one for like years. That boy typing.
My bad.
That boy clacking and clacking.
Speaking of typing, Jax, get off my arm. There we go. I need to show real quick.
Okay.
Real quick. Oh no, he's gone. It's okay. It's just me.
He's disappearing for a minute. He disappeared.
Can y'all see? The lights kind of make it difficult. I don't know if you can see. It's my new keyboard.
Controls and Last of Us kind of okay.
It's actually Moon, isn't it great?
Actually, Sam, I'm gonna piggyback off that, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get canceled again. Last of Us Part 2 was mid. Last of Us Part 2 was mid as well.
Honestly, David, the further out we get from launch of Last of Us 2, the more we have people agreeing with that. So you're not like completely wrong.
It's not. It's
okay. You know what a really hot take is for that?
People.
Do you want a hot take with that, David?
What's that?
The only reason why Last of Us 2 was as popular as it was, or a big reason why, a contributing factor of it was, because the main character was introduced as gay. So it had a lot of support. It had a lot of support and backing from LGBTQ and allies as well.
That is a hot take.
Nothing wrong with that. However,
I don't necessarily disagree.
You should not overlook the fact, like the criticisms of the game, just because it has LGBTQ representation. Like that does not give it a pass.
Yeah.
For the shortcomings.
You agree? Yeah. We were hyped for 7 years. The game was mid. The game was mid as shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I was excited too. I bought the fucking game, got it day one, and I played through that shit.
I still haven't played it. I need to.
I'm just like, oh.
Okay. You know what? Something that's gonna make people not like. Okay, I did not cry from the opening scenes of Last of Us 1. I didn't. No tugging of any heartstrings here. I did not feel. My boyfriend at the time was like, "It's so sad. You're totally gonna cry." Representation is important. However, it doesn't mean that you should give people a pass to make
mid games
or garbage games just because they have representation. It also doesn't mean I'm going to treat it equal just as I would if it didn't have representation. It's treated the same.
Now, when I say that Last of Us 2 was mid, I'm not talking about the gameplay itself, because I honestly think like gameplay wise it is leagues better than Last of Us 1. Absolutely. And plus the accessibility options in that game, fucking fantastic. The story was ass. That story was horrible. I won't say it was horrible, but it was boring. It's basically just one big revenge story. That's it.
So David,
and that's all I'm saying.
The next on his list, this guy's list, right? Top tier list. I fucking hate Animal Crossing.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Next, Battlefield 5 is one of the best Battlefield games, and it might be my favorite.
I don't know, man. That might be jail worthy. I don't know.
So we have another instance of representation does not equal automatically good game. A lot of people hated Battlefield 5 simply because of the women in there.
Bro, I forgot that was like
that was a whole thing. That was a whole thing.
Yeah.
I
completely forgot that it was.
However, it does not excuse the fact that the game was okay at best.
Yeah. Oh man, that game.
So the next on his list is the Monster Hunter thing. The next on the list is Animal Crossing is hot garbage. And
I would say that does sound like a weird video game, just from like a person who's not a gamer. Just like what I see of it through like Twitter and Instagram, it's just like, yeah.
Animal Crossing is one of the easiest games for someone who's not a gamer to jump into.
Yeah.
No, I know. It's just like a weird. It's a weird.
The premise is weird. The premise is weird as fuck. Like,
yes and no.
I'll give you that.
I don't think it's hard, but it's like
it's very much kind of like just your normal like playing house type deal.
Yeah.
That's why people like
it's like Sims, but with raccoons.
Yeah, the premise of Animal Crossing is very much a fever dream.
Now, Tomodachi Life is a fever dream. That's what
oh yeah, no.
That being said, I would love a Tomodachi Life on the Switch. Give me that.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
All right,
Sims.
so
Animals. Yeah, you know what? That's it. Animal Sims. That's it.
All right,
David. What it is.
I have one for you here. Okay.
I don't want it.
Pokemon Black and White 2 are the best Pokemon games ever made, and it is also the last good Pokemon games. Everything after the 5G is trash.
Now, okay, you had me. You had me when they said when he said that Black and White were the best Pokemon games. You had me because Black and White's up there.
We're not going to talk about Sonic right now. David and I are going to see it on Sunday.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
But not enough of us seen it yet, so we're not going to talk about Sonic too much.
Black and White is up there as far as like Pokemon quality goes. I say, and I probably would have said like outside of like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it probably would have been the best Pokemon games if Legends Arceus didn't come out.
Yeah, and I've heard that a lot, like with Black and White. Now I played like Red and Yellow, and then I dropped off the face of the earth with Pokemon. I did Pokemon cards. I didn't do the games, and I did the anime for a while. And then I didn't get back into the games until Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby.
Yeah.
Right, David?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I played through most of the ones that came out since.
No, you did X and Y.
X? No, I didn't do X and Y.
No, not X and Y. You did
it was Alpha
Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire came out first before Sun and Moon. Never mind. Yeah.
And then I did Sun and Moon and so on and so forth. I need to play Arceus. It's probably the only one I'll probably finish of them because I don't know. I just get kind of bored and I just stop playing.
No, you'll like Arceus.
Anyway, so the next one, Alien Isolation is the best survival horror game just for the alien AI.
That's not unreasonable. That's not unreasonable. That's not unreasonable. No. That's not a hot take. That's solid. I can agree with that. And this is coming from a guy who does not do horror games. That shit good. Alien Isolation will make you like a Star Trek door.
Another guy says. So this is another. That's the last of that, guys.
I don't like the way you put your hand over your face. I don't like
Breath of the Wild is a good tech demo and a terrible game.
All right, what's their username? I just want to talk.
The Three-Eyed Sloth. Enjoy.
All right, I just want to talk, bro.
Now I agree with this next guy. Okay.
I just want to talk, bro.
Saints Row the Third is 2011's Game of the Year. I'm good with that.
I don't know if that's a hot take.
Hold on. Games
That's Trilogy.
Yeah.
No. Well.
Ooh, you had Skyrim in 2011, Portal 2, Arkham City, Modern Warfare 3, which okay, Skyward Sword, whatever. LA Noire. There were some great contenders. Witcher 2, Dead Space 2, Dark Souls, Deus Ex, Mortal Kombat. Like there were some decent games that came out that year. That was a good. Can we have 2011 again? That was a good year for games. Best trilogy.
Sam, are you asking us what is the best trilogy, or was that in reference to the game?
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess we can go best trilogy.
Someone else said Bethesda has never made a good game.
That's not unreasonable. That's not unreasonable.
I don't know. Okay. I mean,
well, hold on. We got to make the distinction between what is a good game and what is a fun game.
Listen, I'm gonna say because I think good and fun are kind of intertwined when it comes to like gamers as a whole. If the game is not fun in some way, it's not good. And if all these Bethesda games that have come out were really not good, then they wouldn't be in business anymore, or they wouldn't be selling as many copies of things as they are. They wouldn't have they wouldn't re-release Skyrim 20 times and have it still sell a lot.
Well, that's because Bethesda know that Skyrim is fun, but they also know that game is being held together by duct tape.
Well, I mean, look at the Fallout games too. The Fallout games, even though there's a lot of people that criticize each individual one, you still have a lot, you still have a decent fan base, even for 76.
But that still lends to my point. At the core, Fallout games are fun, but mechanically they are bad because they are being held together by duct tape.
Honestly, I've just for myself, and I played my Fallout games on Xbox One.
You can speak more about Fallout than I can because I haven't even finished 4.
So I played my Fallout games on Xbox One, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have had very few glitches or issues with Fallout. Now I've mostly played Fallout 4. I played some of New Vegas, and I played through 3. But I get a lot of my information as well through my mom. My mom's experience. She loves the Fallout games as well, and she's I don't think she finished New Vegas. She finished 3. She liked 4 better. She's played so many hours in 76. And New Vegas, the only reason why she didn't finish is because she got far. I think she finished the main storyline and she's just doing the extra stuff around. But then she pissed off the wrong group of people. And now she can't go anywhere without people killing her all the time. So similar to how you got stuck, David, in Fallout 4 with the guy who kept nuking you.
I do have,
because she saved right before she saved right after it autosaved right after she made the wrong voice decision.
I do have a hot take about Bethesda, and this may not be a hot take, but it is what it is. Bethesda would be in much better graces if they never made the creation engine. That shit is terrible. I hate that fucking engine so much. It's so bad. I'm so glad they're moving away from it. Holy shit.
Sam was saying best trilogy can be movies, games, etc. So.
Oh, so you're just gonna say which one is the best trilogy?
Jeff, we want to start with you. What's your best trilogy? Movies, games. I mean, you can do all of them. Movies, games. Books.
Well, best game trilogy is obviously Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, and 3.
That's not unreasonable. I mean, that's not unreasonable. Hey,
let's talk about music.
Tony Hawk had on the fucking black child community.
Let's talk about bridging gaps. How many songs when I got to college, I was like, oh, I know this because of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I know this.
Have you ever heard a bus driver before Tony Hawk? No.
Exactly. People, I'll be watching skating. They're like, how do you know so much about skating? You skate? I'm like, nope.
Don't worry about it.
I was like, Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, it's great. What you got on a movie? Though? What you got
Okay.
on movies?
Movie trilogy.
Yeah, what you got on movies, Jeff?
Movies, I'm gonna
I know
go.
you got something.
I'm gonna say that one of the most underrated trilogies, I think, is the Captain America trilogy because people overlook the first movie because it's not as good as the other two.
I don't know. I the first one's my favorite.
Yeah, and
I
I
love
think
the
it's
first
because
Captain America
I
movie.
think it's because people were not ready for like Marvel to be like kind of venturing off into other genre styles. So when you go see a Marvel movie, you're not expecting to like see a World War period piece. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas wasn't trying to see Dunkirk. So I think when you saw Iron Man and you're like, oh, another Marvel movie, and then you go in and it's basically Saving Private Ryan, it's kind of like, eh. But if you just go in and you're just like, this is just a movie, I think it's better than people give it credit for, and I think it elevates his trilogy.
I see a couple of Dark Knight trilogies in there.
Dark Knight trilogy is fair. I think the ending is a little, it leaves more to be desired in my opinion. But first movie was solid. Second movie I thought was really, really good. Third movie, I saw what they was going for, but I think they made a couple of choices that just ended up being distractions in the long run. Like the Bane's character would have been so much cooler without that like whatever voice thing they were doing.
That's Batman.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, like the second, the Dark Knight trilogy, like I was working at Hot Topic around that time. So I have a special distaste for that movie specifically because of working at Hot Topic during that time. That and the Twilight movies, because I was also working at Hot Topic during that time. And just having the overabundance of cringy merchandise come through.
Yeah, and I would say honestly, I blame that movie for the reason why we can't get away from the Joker. Because I feel like people stayed away from it for so long because Jack Nicholson did it. And then when Heath Ledger did his, I feel like then every thespian was like, well, I would like my chance to dance with the Joker in the arena theater. And it's just like, bruh, like everybody don't got to be a Joker. Everybody, like Joker is now the role for like white male actors to like prove they got the chops because they can play crazy in a believable way.
You mean these incels? Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Now, David.
Yeah.
Okay, for video, because both you and I know each other really well, right? So I want you to try and guess my favorite video game trilogy, and then what would be harder is my favorite movie trilogy, and I'll try and guess your favorites.
See, that's
so. Do you want me to do your video game first?
Yes.
Mass Effect.
Yes.
See, there you go.
Yes.
Now, video game for me should be pretty damn easy.
Like I'm tempted to say Silent Hill, but it's because of 3 that just kind of throws it all off. But I think 1 and 2 kind of
Silent Hill.
It's not Silent Hill.
Nope. Because Silent Hill technically was never a trilogy. That's a series. It's different.
It's a trilogy.
David, do you want me to give it away?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows me and has known me for a long time, like it's a very obvious. It's going to be so obvious.
It's probably the one that I'm thinking of. But what is it?
What is it?
Fallout. No, not Fallout. No. No. I was thinking Fallout from the thing. I was thinking Fallout from the conversation we're having.
Also, for David, your second favorite, most likely Sonic 1, 2, 3. If you also throw in Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll let you have that. Yeah, I can't think of this. There's a bunch, but I can't.
David,
think of it.
I had a whole dog.
Oh, right. God, I completely forgot because I don't like Peter Molyneux.
I still cry over that stupid animal.
Yeah, I forgot.
Multiple times a month, David.
Easy. Yeah.
The Fable trilogy, 1, 2, and 3.
I forgot because I'm doing my best to like push Peter Molyneux from my mind.
I know. Honestly, though, like I hate him, but he's made really good games. Like and such great concepts. Like a lot of it didn't come to fruition, but like,
oh shit! Wait a minute! Whoa!
Yeah, I just saw that.
What?
In the thing.
What?
Look at the chat. Look at the chat
real quick before we move on to that. It looks like I'm gonna have to look it up on something else because it doesn't like my ad blocker.
Oh no!
So favorite movies for me would be the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, as much I don't really care for them, but I gotta acknowledge it. It's up there. It's up there. Oh my god. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is up there for sure.
It's gorgeous. Like I love it. Like I'll do it. Like David, you don't know how much I want to do a Lord of the Rings marathon in a day where we eat like a whole Lord of the Rings like themed meals as well through the whole day. We set up the whole
trilogy is flawless.
We set up the projector and everything.
See that, like what Russell just said, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is flawless. Like that's really not unreasonable. Like it's personally not my favorite trilogy, but I can acknowledge the fact that it is up there. It's good.
It's fantastic.
You can't get away with like 3-hour long movies and it just not be good. Like
also, Sam, I do love Binding of Isaac, but it is not a trilogy.
No, it's just
it is a singular game with DLCs.
Twilight, no, ban.
No.
Ban.
Hold on, someone kick him out of the chat.
Hold on.
No.
Okay,
hey, people.
Hold on. There you go.
Right now.
It's okay. It's okay. I removed his comment. It's not there anymore.
Earlier, somebody did mention Back to the Future, and I think
I could see that.
I think that movie, it comes out of the gate strong.
Yeah.
But it fades. It's like them videos of the people running track, and then somebody else just comes zoom right by
on your left.
Exactly.
But that's not. I could see why they would say that though. I could see why they say that.
Yeah, it's fun, and I think too.
Trilogy.
I think it's like if you just let yourself have fun, it's a good trilogy. But if you being too serious about what cinema is supposed to be, then you're not gonna have a good time in 2 and 3.
And that's kind of how I feel about the Austin Powers trilogy. Like it's good, it's memorable, but like you could see why somebody be like that trilogy's ass.
Yeah.
But like,
to whoever made this comment, would you rather watch Michael J. Fox moonwalk in cowboy boots or hear Tom Holland make that Bane voice? Because I'm gonna go ahead and say I got Back to the Future 3 slightly ahead of The Dark Knight in terms of closing out the trilogies.
I love Tom Holland.
Take.
Though. Tom Holland could just exist, and I'd be like, give me that right there. Give me that.
Interview with Vampires and Next Gen.
Yeah.
You know
oh, God, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's you're right.
They'd have to, honestly, I don't want to see them do a movie trilogy because they'd mess up the casting.
Of course they would.
They'd mess up the casting so hard.
Yeah.
Like
the potential is there though, for sure.
Like here's a hot take for you. Interview with a Vampire, the casting could have been better in the movie.
Yeah, they just casted like the sexiest white people they could think of in Hollywood.
Brad Pitt did a great job. Tom Cruise, overrated as hell. And I guess they did do Queen of the Damned afterwards, but oh god, Kirsten Dunst. I love Kirsten Dunst. I know David doesn't like her, but I think you said she looks weird or something.
She does.
She's got hot body weird face syndrome.
She's got like white girl face.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just if you into that, you can,
Taylor Swift and Scarlett Johansson have white girl face, okay?
No, Taylor Swift is
same. I feel the same way about Taylor Swift as I do Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst has an interesting face where
I will
she has an interesting jawline, I think is what it is.
I will give you Taylor Swift because she is the most basic of basic.
Scarlett Johansson, super basic. Basic as hell.
I will respectfully
whenever you
disagree.
say white woman, that's one of the first people
I will respectfully
Scarlett
disagree.
Johansson or Taylor Swift.
I will respectfully disagree.
David, you can sleep outside with the wasp, okay?
Didn't I look? I said I see why you say that. I don't agree, but I see why you say it. I know exactly why you say it. I don't agree, but I see why. I'm not discrediting your opinion at all. but I just know
someone
that I
said all jokes
respectfully
aside, Blade until Blade Trinity was good to me. I liked Blade Trinity. There's your hot take. I really enjoyed
disagree.
Blade Trinity.
Wasn't all that bad though, honestly.
I really liked Blade Trinity. I loved especially the
Trinity wasn't
Pomeranian.
that bad.
The Pomeranian and Ryan Reynolds. Like, I'll watch it for those. David,
Yeah,
can we watch Blade Trinity tonight?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, let's watch Blade Trinity.
All right.
Okay. See, now we're gonna watch
Blade
Blade
Trinity.
Trinity.
Blade Trinity was not that bad. I don't think it was that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
And why are you simping for these white women? These basic white women, not even
Linda,
like
Linda, you already know the white woman crushes for me anyway, so it's all good.
Oh god.
Well, you know a couple of them. Never mind.
Well, I know the main one.
The main one
that you would absolutely leave me for.
I don't know about all that.
Kristen Bell.
Oh yeah. No, well, I wouldn't leave you for. But.
You'd be like, "Yo, Kristen Bell. Hey, girl, how you doing? How you doing?"
But
though I think
know,
your thing.
Just know if I have to suddenly
Kristen
go away.
Bell.
Yeah.
I think so. David's obsession with Kristen Bell. Yep, David's crush on Kristen Bell starts from Veronica Mars.
I love that Veronica Mars, baby.
I get that.
But David knows I would.
That was honestly that was my first celebrity crush. Honestly,
David knows I'd leave him in a heartbeat for like there's 2 actors that would definitely do it, maybe 3. But the main one's David Tennant.
You can't say Ryan Reynolds because that's everybody's celebrity crush.
Exactly. So David Tennant in a heartbeat. We were just talking. Tom Holland.
Just didn't like
absolutely.
It. That's fair.
Though I'd be Robin. Not really. How Tom Holland's like late 20s, right? I can get away with that. I'm 33.
She was on the show on Showtime with Don Cheadle.
And
yes, she was.
What's his face?
She's doing a lot on that show too.
Who's the other one?
Hello?
I'm really bad with names.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, of course.
Of
course. David knows. Now only Chris Hemsworth as long hair Thor. If he has short hair, I'm not interested. I hated when he cut his hair. No, I'm not. I like certain guys I prefer with long hair. That's why I like with My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way, whenever he cut his hair after 3 Cheers, I'm like, nope, I'm done.
All right, movie trilogy. What's your movie trilogy? What's your
movie trilogy, David?
My movie trilogy? I actually don't
everyone
know.
Else's.
I don't know if I have a favorite, like a top movie trilogy, honestly.
Jack, why are you pressing the keyboard?
I have to think about that one. I really don't know. I don't know if there's a trilogy of movies that I'm out here just like, yo, that's my shit.
You don't really have any movies that you rewatch. You have animes.
Yeah.
I'll say this: the 3 Spider-Mans that MCU just did,
those are really good.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, they are up there. I'll give you that. None of them have missed ever, like at all. None of them have missed.
Jack, what are you doing?
I was crying.
I'll give you that.
I ain't gonna lie, I was crying at the end.
Oh yeah, no, that last movie, man.
I mean, the Planet of the Apes ones, I like those movies. I think a lot of people don't like them because it made them feel a type of way about themselves and their place in this world. But
I know, like, my parents prefer, like, they like the new Planet of the Apes. However, I think there's bigger fans of the originals.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So once again, I grew up with nerdy parents, mostly sci-fi nerds, some video games.
Has Fallen trilogy was fun.
David, I can't open.
Honestly,
do I have a?
Honestly, the Olympus Has Fallen trilogy was not bad.
That
one was not bad.
Once again, Olympus Has Fallen is one of those movies that I just didn't even give a chance because the marketing was so terrible.
That's an airplane movie.
It's movie. Exactly. All I know about that movie
some movies
is what
was hitting on the plane.
All I know from that for that movie is in the trailer.
Tag
all I did
might
was
be a airline movie, yeah.
So the trailer for Olympus Has Fallen was Olympus Has Fallen explosion. Olympus Has Fallen explosion. It just repeated that about 10 times, and that was the end of it. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to pass on that.
Also, it was like it was like 2 movies coming out that were exactly the same. It was like that and then White House Down. And so it was like, well, which one am I gonna?
I'm just gonna go watch Independence Day again.
Exactly.
David, so trilogy. video game trilogy that you probably wouldn't have thought of for this, right? Donkey Kong Country.
I would say yes, but Donkey Kong Country 3 exists.
But I mean, 3 wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but it really drags down the whole trilogy. Like 1 and 2 are bangers. 3 is like,
What about The Witcher?
Kitty Kong, Kitty Kong's just smaller Donkey Kong. That's all he is. That's all he is. That's all he does.
What about The Witcher?
No, that's timeless. That's fine. But I'm only not giving it to The Witcher because of the original author and how much of an asshole he was. That's it.
He's Polish. It's fine.
It's fine because he's Polish.
It's a different culture, David. You don't understand.
I went for the third Sherlock Holmes. You know what? That's facts.
That's David.
That's facts.
David would leave me for Sherlock Holmes.
I would.
He would.
I would.
And you know what? I'd be like, that's fine.
That's fair. That's fair.
David, you know it's a game series I'm surprised you never got into.
What's that?
Shenmue.
I did get into Shenmue. Oh God, no. I don't see how anybody does it. I don't see it. I played Shenmue 1 and 2. I don't understand. I don't get why people love that series. I don't understand. It makes no fucking sense to me.
What about the Metroid Prime trilogy?
Yes, but no. It's weird because it's just so my thing about the Metroid Prime trilogy is that Metroid Prime 1 and 2 are good, but it's the same thing with the Donkey Kong Country trilogy, right? That third one, just all you had to do was be normal, but they had to do the fucking. You got also, the Wiimote. You got to do the
real
Wiimote.
Quick, y'all who are listening, let me know if you hear an echo. I can hear David through my headphones in the other room. Let me know if you hear an echo. The door is closed. I don't know why.
I don't hear any echo from you.
Like I can hear you so well. I don't know. Maybe it's your new computer. Oh yeah, look at David behind. Look at behind David. It's not a new computer, but like it's a new. He finally got his computer put into his new case that I got him last year, and there are a couple new pieces I think to it. It looks like you have RAM sticks that are glowing now. That didn't. No, did he give you new stuff?
No, the RAM is different. The RAM is new. Not new.
I want glowy RAM.
The RAM's not
glowy?
new.
I want pink RAM. Can I have that? Okay, thanks, Sam. So David, do you want to? Okay, so both of you guys, Jeffrey and David.
Okay.
Y'all want to hear another trilogy that's been ruined for me?
Hold on, the girl with the dragon tattoo trilogy. Yeah. I'll give you that. That was the girl dragon tattoo trilogy was actually pretty...
I don't know how they messed that up.
Do y'all want to hear another trilogy or another just games in general that have been ruined for me because of someone's kind of random obsession that was shoved down my throat? Now this comes from working at GameStop, so that's that. But Tomb Raider. I was really interested in the newer Tomb Raider trilogy, right? However, working at GameStop for 8 years, and having to listen to GameStop TV on loop, and having the new all the hosts that have cycled through. There's a specific host that is unnecessarily obsessed with Tomb Raider and tries it became like a meme that wasn't actually funny, shoved into every single new episode that would loop for that month, somewhere that she loves Tomb Raider. There could be no Tomb Raider game ever coming out ever that year, and she's like, oh, Tomb Raider, or someone else would be like, oh, Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
And I'm like, okay.
That's funny.
And we all know she loves Tomb Raider. Oh, it's not like Tomb Raider though.
Well, Tomb Raider.
Calm down. No, I don't want to play. I don't care. I don't want to play it. I'm good. Like I said, I did try. I've played some of the first one. I tried out the second one at the managers conference before it was out. And I don't know. It's just, I wish that's one of the series I wish I could really love. Same with Uncharted. I wish I could like them, But like my issue with Uncharted was there was too many times where, and this might be the first one because I wanted to play it in order. There's too many times where you get stuck in one area shooting people for like 20 minutes. You're just in one area behind cover and you're just shooting a bunch of people and they just keep coming. I'm like, why did you send the army of an entire first world country after me? And why are they all so poorly trained that I can take them all out from this one? But yeah, it got really like, I wanted to explore, you know? But yeah, other honorable mentions, at least for video game trilogies at the very least. BioShock, which we should be getting a fourth soon-ish, upcoming in the future. BioShock 1 and 2, I preferred over 3, only because I prefer the horror genre, and 3 went more for an action-adventure feel. Definitely felt more Uncharted-esque. Plus, the main character was very generic white male video game hero. Booker. Dark Souls. Let's see. Borderlands. No, I remember. Yeah, Borderlands. There was a certain Rihanna song that was used on a trailer, on different game trailers for 3 years in a row, and it was always on PlayStation games, so it always looped on the Sony demo unit for 3 years straight. I still have like PTSD from hearing that song. It was like, one was NBA, one was Battlefield, a Battlefield game, and I forget the third one. But it was the same song by Rihanna used on 3 completely different genre games. Why would you do that? Then they did some sort of like Justin Bieber spinoff for a Madden game one year. That was just ridiculous as well.
Justin Bieber for Madden.
Yes, it was called Start Me.
Yeah,
look it up on YouTube.
Madden used to have good music when I played.
It's some, okay, hold on, let's see. It's some dude featuring Von Miller. I don't know who that is, but
he's a football player.
I figured as much with that, but yeah, Google Madden Start Me. It pops up on YouTube. He's singing this parody called Start Me. And it's a Justin Bieber thing. He's dressed in all kinds of different outfits, including like cowboy hats and lots of colorful garb. And yeah, it wasn't the best. Oh, ain't no rest. Yeah, that's right. Ain't no rest for the wicked. It was that, Sam. I like that song though, so I didn't mind it too much. But yeah, those of you guys who I know are watching that are former GameStop employees, and I know there's a lot of us. A lot of you guys were from like the old days. It got worse. GameStop TV got worse. Despite all the other reasons to leave and not work for that company, GameStop TV is a good reason. It was a good reason to not be there anymore. Especially once they got rid of Simone as one of the hosts, and yeah, she was the last like really good female host. But the Bourne trilogy, I can't speak on that. That's action stuff. That's all you guys.
I got a Bourne hot take. The Bourne movies are just fake kung fu movies. And if I want to see somebody just beat a whole bunch of people up, I'd rather watch Jackie Chan and Jet Li do it because I know they can fight for real than watching Matt Damon do choreography. Even though it looks cool, even though I get it, the spy thing, but I'm just like this. I'd much rather watch an actual like kung fu movie than just watching like, yeah, nah. The Bourne movies didn't do it for me.
Boring, more like boring.
Oh
yeah. All I hear when I see Matt Damon is that Team America puppet. It's like
all
Matt
right.
Damon.
All right.
Matt Damon.
I love it.
I can't take you seriously, bro.
So yeah, Dark Souls trilogy was great. David, what's your favorite Dark Souls?
What?
What's your favorite Dark Souls game?
I
I think you only really played 3, right? And now Elden Ring.
I played a little bit of 1 and a little bit of 3.
Yeah.
don't
Jeffrey,
have
did you
anything
play
else.
any of the Dark Souls games?
No.
No.
My game knowledge is, I think it stops at Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4.
That's okay because you don't.
No. Actually, EA Sports Skate and Skate 2. I played those also.
David would argue you don't need 5. I think 5 is a masterpiece.
What?
Tony Hawk.
No.
Every time I tell David, I need to make space on my PlayStation, he's like, delete Tony Hawk. And I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I got it for free. And he's like, you still need a refund. And I'm like, okay. Max Payne, another trilogy there. Xenosaga. That's something David might be able to talk on. Did you play Xenosaga, David?
I played 1.
My brothers played Xenosaga.
1.
I never got around to Xenosaga. Ooh, what about the Mother trilogy?
I played 2 and 3. I didn't play the first one. Nobody played the first one in the US.
No one played the first
Nobody
one.
played it.
I got a question I want to ask you guys too, because like you guys are like gamer people, and Linda, you have like a great knowledge of like history that I'm seeing too with like marketing and stuff. That's the kind of people I like, because I be remembering commercials and advertisements of people like, I don't remember that.
I have a good memory and it's a curse.
Yes, same. And my wife would agree with that also. Do y'all feel like, okay, so I have a theory that Nintendo was for good kids and Sega was for bad kids, and it was purposefully marketed that way. Like,
okay,
when Mortal Kombat came out, it was like, it was on Super Nintendo, but it was like clearly like a Sega game. You look at old Sega ads in the magazines, it's like black with fire and lightning.
I remember it less as good or bad, and I saw it more as age demographics. Whereas, like, because I'm talking specifically Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis.
Yeah, same.
Sega Genesis seemed to be marketed more towards the younger demographic Super Nintendo, and then Sega Genesis tended to have more mature titles.
Yeah,
that Super Nintendo.
I guess the people my age were playing them, they was bad because their parents was letting them play games.
My parents never got us Mortal Kombat. We weren't allowed to play Mortal Kombat. I had a Genesis and a Super Nintendo and an NES. My parents, despite growing up on the poorer side, they made sure we had most game consoles that came through. I think in the 90s, the only one we didn't have, like, of the major consoles, would be maybe Virtual Boy, if you want to count that. And
Virtual Boy.
We didn't have a Jaguar, if you wanted to count that. And we didn't have a Sega Saturn. I eventually got a Saturn later, specifically because Nights into Dreams is one of my favorite games. I used to play like demo stuff of that, and I absolutely love it. Conker's Bad Fur Day is like one of the worst games ever released on Nintendo until they started really there were lots of really bad or adult themed games released on the NES and the SNES and the N64 because it wasn't regulated as much by Nintendo, and it was very easy to release a non third party cartridge for those consoles back then. It's much more difficult to get game releases now that are they're not licensed officially. Like that's what I'm looking for, officially licensed. Even now, you can still find, they still release cartridges from time to time for old consoles from the 90s that are unlicensed, and it's insane looking at them. However, they had to do that to release these more mature titles on the Nintendo consoles, whereas Sega was just like, yeah, sure, bring it. That's the whole reason why the ESRB exists, is so we can have more of these. And then you ended up having, actually, you know what was it? I think Night Trap was one of the ones that caused the ESRB to actually exist.
Yep.
That was more
that and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that and Mortal Kombat. Now, this was released for the Sega CD in 92. I keep forgetting how old the Sega CD is. I keep thinking it's more mid 90s, but it was in the middle there. It was released 2 years earlier in 91 in Japan, and before it was released in Europe and America, and that was in 93. We did have a Sega CD. So I did have a Sega CD growing up. I liked Echo the Dolphin on there, and I love Sonic CD. And there were a few others on there that we played. Mostly we'd go to like our local game store in town, which was Microplay, and we'd rent games from there. And Microplay, you could also buy them too if you liked the game. But yeah, Night Trap I think was one of the ones that was that and Mortal Kombat is what influenced the ESRB to be made.
Yeah.
In existence. So Sega's like, fine, you're already going to be like, oh, parents don't buy this for your kids, so we're just going to have stuff there. Whereas Sega or Nintendo always had more of a view of we want it to be a for all ages console, not necessarily family friendly, but a for all ages type of deal. So I think that was more of the feeling of it, and because of that, you tended to have the kids who did have Sega and not Nintendo were able to get their hands on it for one reason or another, probably from parents not caring or researching into video games. They were able to get their hands on worse games that were not for their age group. So I think that's why it was more of it got the reputation of if you were a bad kid, then you had Sega, where if you were a good kid, you had.
When I went to somebody's house, they had a Sega. I was like, okay.
I remember playing. Only time I played Mortal Kombat as a kid, it was on the Genesis, was at a relative's house in South Texas. I was there for, I assume, my grandfather's funeral. It was so long ago. And it was like a second cousin's kid or something like that. I don't know what they'd be in relation to me. But they had a Genesis and they had Mortal Kombat. My brothers and I were like, oh my God, we know of this game, but our parents will never let us play it. And we were able to play it. It was exciting. The most violent thing we ever got to play was Ninja Turtles. So that was a thing for us.
That's a trilogy that could have been so much more.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the 90s had 90s was a great time for gaming. It really was.
Yeah.
Honestly, the 90s and the mid 2000s to the mid 2010s.
You know why? For me, because it was like even games that you didn't have to be like good at, you could play and just have like a good time and still be playing games that other people are also playing. And I feel like when I was getting older, it was just like, well, if you ain't playing Madden, like you don't have nothing to talk about. And then if you're not playing 2K, if you're not playing, I mean, Tony Hawk was up there for a while, but you know, it was in first-person shooters. Once first-person shooters became like the dominant gaming thing, I was just like,
now
I'm out.
Fun fact: the last football game I ever played was the one on the NES.
Bo Jackson. Oh no, Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo Bowl. Yes, I actually played with my brothers, and never really played anything after that. And I will say, as far as the thing, Ty here saying the house was second, the food was better. The food at my second cousin's house there, especially because, okay, so this was on my dad's side of the family. It's the Mexican side. That's why we're in South Texas. We're right near the border. Food, fantastic. Like actual Mexican food. And it was for a funeral. I do love my grandfather, but like, great food down there for his funeral. So may he rest in peace. Great food. But yeah. David.
Yes.
What is your favorite history? Like, what's your favorite gaming period in history? Like time span? When gaming to you was at like its peak?
Ooh.
And y'all in the comments post yours as well. Like, give me like a year span. Sega comes with that seasoning. Absolutely.
I'm trying to think, what would be the best?
Because Jeffrey, you've already given kind of your answer with that. And especially based on like what you tend to play. And a lot of people tend to, if they don't stick with gaming forever, they usually kind of get stuck in that era. And that's what they like. It's a nostalgia thing. And that's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I used to play way more like fighting games because, I mean, that was huge. And it was good. It was an easy thing for like quick passing the controller because it was only 2 controllers. And then it was also that time where there was a good balance between like in-home game consoles, but also going to the arcade was still a thing because they wasn't releasing Marvel versus Capcom yet in home, or you could play Time Crisis and all that stuff like that before they started getting the in-home stuff. So yeah.
Now I think a lot of Dave and Buster still have Time Crisis, so I do play that there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So David, favorite gaming period. And I'll read some of the comments that come through.
I think I have to say it probably have to be the like I guess when the first big console war started, like around where the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis was a thing.
So around like the mid 90s ish.
Mid 90s, yeah. Let's say mid 90s.
Mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
Would be a good thing because then you had like N64 and you had Dreamcast and PlayStation 1, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah.
Because I think that was when gaming companies were pushing to like be better than the other one and everybody benefited.
Yes.
Consumer wise.
And it was a good push, unlike today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different push today. It does not make everyone better.
Right.
It makes everyone try and like buy up all these independent companies that are actually pushing out. Like, okay, hot take, right? The best video games that come out these days are by independent developers.
Yeah.
The best ones.
I mean, that's true of so many things. Not AAA.
Because then they get bought out by AAA company and they might make one good game, like really good game. Maybe because a lot of the times they end up getting gutted. They're bought out and gutted. Lionhead is a good representation there. That being said, it does help that like they go off and go help other things. Team Silent is another good one there. And that wasn't, they were bought out by a thing that was just Konami being greedy. But all right. So Alex here says, I really love that for people in our age range, we got to grow up with the evolution of video games. It's crazy that I played 8-bit games as a kid, and now I can free roam these massive sandbox games in 4K like GTA or Ghost of Tsushima. It just blows my mind. And I completely agree with that. That is something I've like, honestly, one of the main reasons, aside from the fact that I know David wants them, one of the main reasons why I would love to have kids is to be able to pass along my love for video games and to be able to help them. That's one of the reasons why I've kept such a big collection of games so they can have a lot of those experiences I had as a kid. Like we still have the big stuff, but to introduce them to it, they can play on an actual Super Nintendo that I still have, you know, with cartridges and everything. That being said, I know David wants children as well, right, David?
Mm-hmm.
N64 was my golden era. Which, golden. Hold on a second.
That third joystick.
I loved the reason why I loved N64 because I have 3 brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 of us.
Game changer.
Lots of games that came out. There were 4 players. We all could play together instead of having to take turns or only play games that would work with our multi-tap.
Yeah.
With our Super Nintendo, which was like Bomberman, and that was it.
Yeah. So, it changed the sleepover game forever.
Oh yeah.
Like the sleepovers were crazy after that.
Ours weren't even a sleepover thing. Like it was just because I grew up with so many siblings. It changed our dynamic on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
We played stuff like Gauntlet and GoldenEye and all these different like 4-player games. Time Splitters,
Wave Racer,
like Wave Racer. Yeah, like so many games that we could play. Mario Party, uh, Mario Kart, all the Mario Smash Bros. All these 4-player games. It opened up a whole new world for us.
Yeah.
And then Dreamcast didn't support nearly as many 4-player games, but still had the option if we could find the games. Sam says 98 to 02. That kind of fills the same kind of thing we're talking about there. That was David's little cute butt. Y'all got to see that. Such a cute little butt here. Yeah, Super Smash Bros. Yep, we were talking there. David. Sorry, I was making a request. He's going upstairs. I don't know what he's doing. What is he doing? Anyway, yeah, GoldenEye was the big FPS game people played until Halo came around, which is fun and funny. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we can play GoldenEye chops only.
Oh, there's another good trilogy there we didn't really mention. Halo trilogy 1, 2, and 3. Because they're, and I guess if you want to say ODST, because there's definitely a disconnect between those first 3 and then the ones that came afterwards. A huge, because like that's when Bungie stopped. Bungie went off to make Destiny, and yeah, Perfect Dark. I never played Perfect Dark. I think David liked Perfect Dark, the one on the N64. But yeah, I know Sam mentioned earlier Conker's Bad Fur Day, Star Fox. Those, I know my dad loves Star Fox on the Super Nintendo or the N64. However, he was very upset with. Thank you, David. He was very upset with what was it? Star Fox Adventures. What was it? The GameCube. He was watching. I know he was watching me play it one day, and he's like, "What are you playing, Linda?" I'm like, "I'm playing the new Star Fox game that Ben got, my younger brother, on the GameCube." And he's like, "What do you mean? Where's the ship?" And I'm like, "Dad, there's no ship in this one. Like you had like a little ship at the beginning, but you're exploring like in the area. It's like a Zelda game." And he's like, "That's stupid." And then he walked up.
The man wants his Star Fox to be in the stars.
My dad never played a lot of like console games. He prefers arcade. So like that was a thing for him. Like they changed up Star Fox and made Star Fox Adventures, which I like unironically really enjoy. In fact, David, we need to play Star Fox. Can we stream Star Fox Adventures, David? Or Stairfax Temperatures, as we say. It's good stuff though.
Yeah, I just found my Super Nintendo at my grandmother's house like a couple weeks ago. So I got to see if it still works or whatever, because definitely I feel the same way as you. Like, I mean, I have the Super Nintendo Mini, and like my son has like played that, but he's only 4. So it's just like Donkey Kong Country. He just like rolls through the whole stage because he doesn't have like both hands down yet. But
one day, like we all went through that.
I just know I'm gonna walk in his room and see him playing some shit. Like he's gonna be like floating in a stasis field or something, and I'm gonna be like, these damn games today, they've gone too far.
I'm trying to think. So I remember
Russell sounds like he was a rebel.
I'm trying to place an age for myself with Super Nintendo. So I remember we had the Super Scope.
Everything.
We got the Super Scope. I told you that was a big thing for my parents. Like Christmas these are all Christmas things usually. Anytime it was a big video game, it's typically Christmas. Now, when we all started getting a little bit older, they started letting us buy our own consoles. I think the N64 was the first thing that any of us bought ourselves, like any of my brothers and I. And that was my oldest brother. Bought. It was $100, and I don't remember how he got the money, but he had saved the money to buy himself an N64, and it was a whole big deal. Keep in mind, he graduated from high school in 2003.
Oh, he's my age.
So, yep. I graduated in 2006. Other brother graduated in 2005. Younger brother was 4 years below me in school. We were all 2 years apart, though. So I was just, my birthday threw everything off. So I ended up being 1 grade behind my older brother. But yeah, so we had the Super Scope. I remember playing that. Like I said, I'm trying to place ages for stuff. When did the Super Scope come out in America? That's the question. I do. Okay, in 92. Yeah. Oh wow, did it come out? Yeah, it came out in America before Japan. Didn't come out to Japan till 93.
Take that.
Due to lack of consumer demand. But yeah, there was like some Yoshi game we played with it.
Yoshi Safari?
Yoshi Safari, that's right. We had, so the Super Scope is actually in my parents' attic right now. And it's probably disgusting because it's been up there for like 20 plus years. But yeah, and I remember playing that. And so it came out, we got it, I assume around the time it actually came out, maybe the following year. So I was most likely 5. And I know I've been playing games myself since I could hold a controller, like literally as long as I can remember. Because I know we had an NES. My parents have told me stories about how they stood in line for like hours to get the NES for Christmas for us. But yeah, no, that was, let's see, the Super Nintendo was, I guess, 91. That makes sense. So they probably got the Super Scope for us in 93, I want to say. But yeah, I remember playing games on there with my brothers, and we got Sega Genesis came with Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, I don't remember, like the Genesis, I knew we had it. I don't remember if my parents got a new or secondhand, honestly. But we had Sonic the Hedgehog. I always preferred Sonic over Mario. Both platformers, but I like running fast.
That's Sonic. Sonic 2 is crazy. The Sonic soundtrack is crazy.
Well, especially Sonic 3 with that Michael Jackson influence.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Because the original ending of Sonic 3 is absolutely not Strangers in Moscow. Whatever. That's fine.
So fun fact about mine and David's relationship there. That's one of the first things I think we bonded with is our mutual love for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to go see Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with my parents on Easter Sunday. So I have a Knuckles like hat and like the little gloves that I want David to wear. And he's got a shirt, a Sonic the Hedgehog shirt for my brother in Japan.
Well, speaking of gaming, we've been talking about, we're going to bring in
also
our
Sonic
fearless leader, Sam.
Welcome. Alex here says he's been playing Sonic Mania recently. And the game is fun. I've never really played Sonic before. Sonic is like the best. Sonic is the best. Oh, there's his butt again. Y'all enjoy David's butt there.
Have we already beached Gag After Dark? Am I too late? Did I just get here?
Oh, this is the second time David's shown his butt. So.
Oh man, I missed the first one. Damn it, David.
Look how great that is. Hold on. You got to show him better. Does he have batteries?
I don't think he has batteries.
What's up, Russell?
I thought we put batteries in him.
No, he took it out because he was picked away for a while. We didn't want that.
That's right.
Gotcha.
So it does play music. Where's your guy that I got you?
He's out.
Your Build-A-Bear.
Somewhere? I don't know.
So let me just jump in real quick. I do remember. Let me turn this other one off because I've been trying to watch the whole time. And first off, everybody, hey, what's up, guys? I want to thank you three. Hey, appreciate you holding it down, Jeff.
Oh, hold on. Here's Jack. Jack says hi.
Hey, Jack. Roxy. Jack is here. I want to thank y'all for holding it down. This has been a great conversation. I had a couple people listening with me on. Let me say this very carefully. Yeah. Anyway,
undisclosed work.
or maybe not because I was at work, so it wasn't there. But anyway, it's been great conversation. I've loved what I've heard. There's a couple things I would want to jump back in, but we're not gonna rehash that. Y'all took care of all of that. Gaming. Let me jump in on that part because you asked about the best era for gaming, and yes. I want to talk about that. And for me, I get to go back and I kind of get to play the role that your parents have played. And I've been fortunate. I've got 3 kids and I've got 2 boys. My oldest is 24. My younger son is 23. My daughter's 21. That's where all the gray came from, was that last one. But my boys have been fortunate to kind of have the same experience you've had, Linda, where as a gamer myself, they've had an opportunity. I mean, just look right there. We've got Xbox. We've got the Xbox Series S. We've got a PS4. There's 3 more Xboxes in the house.
But Sam, are your kids buying the consoles for you now, though?
Yeah.
I buy my mom all her consoles. She has a PS4, Xbox One, and a Switch because of me. I bought those for her.
I skipped over the Switch myself, but I was fortunate. My son got us a Switch. And
well, to be fair, the Switch was free. I got it from work, but I already had one, so I gave it to mom. I could have sold it.
There you go. Absolutely could have sold it. In fact, the one that I have, I did. I had one when the Switch was like a hot ticket item and hard to get. I was working at GameStop at the time, and
we had a great time though.
We had a great time.
It was the best.
That was, I think, when we worked together at GameStop, that was probably what made it tolerable for a long time. And
well, see, then after like David left, and then after I left, it just was like it wasn't the same anymore.
Oh yeah, there was no point in being there.
Yeah.
But shout out to Blake. I liked hanging out with Blake. Blake was actually a pretty cool guy. So allowing them to experience that same enjoyment and excitement of playing all the games and letting them be introduced to a lot of the games that I played. You know, I still had to kind of be a parent, and yeah, we have Hawk Woman, not Miss Hawkman. You got a point. It's definitely a valid.
Well,
is she married to Pac-Man?
But hold on. Here's the thing. It goes back to, and you can thank Scott Pilgrim for this. He was actually called Paku Paku. And so you can watch and see all about that. So again, since that is his spouse, but even when her game was launched, they fell in love. Right. You know, it was the whole, like, remember that one little cutscene in between a couple of levels where they're chasing, they go up and they kiss, you have the little heart and the ghosts float away. But showing my age.
Sam, what was it like when the dinosaurs roamed the earth?
You know, that was when I got my first console. It was a stone. It was a flat piece of limestone.
Chisel.
Sam, tell us about your experience about playing Pong.
Open world games were completely different then.
What was your experience with playing Pong?
You know what? While you're playing, I have Breakout on my phone right now. Tetris, one of my all-time favorites.
Sam, how was the Magnavox Odyssey?
While you playing? While you playing? Like, I heard you mention the Jaguar. Played a Jaguar. Played a Neo Geo.
Jaguar at least was like 90s.
Right. Well, we had the my brother and I, we were lucky because so it's really weird, and I'm not going to go through the whole dynamic, but my stepbrother, his father was in Japan in the military, and so he got a lot of stuff from his dad, and he would go to visit, and he'd come back, he'd have all this new stuff. So when I would go to visit my dad, that's where he was. Voila, I've got all this access to all this great stuff. And that's where I kind of first got into anime. And he had a Neo Geo, and Neo Geo had some of the most incredible games. And since it was kind of an import system, it was a little bit more difficult. So we were playing the same like 5 games over and over, but it was different because no one else had these games. So I could get to talk about these things. And it was like, you talk about an exclusive club. It was great. But to the time period for games. So my boys had the opportunity to grow up. And of course, you know, I had to try to play the role of a good parent and monitor some of the games that I let them play. So they did not play Grand Theft Auto until they were probably 14, 15. And they were kind of like looked funny by their friends because they were like, you ain't played that? But you know,
no, I have parents who love me.
Right. I was trying to do right and not expose them to the worst part of the games. And I finally started letting them kind of get through it because now, they were like straight up teenagers and it was
But
like,
Sam,
well past
all the
fine.
kids say you can just press a button and it takes all that content out. Isn't that how it works?
Right. See, having worked at GameStop, I knew better. And so I can't tell you the number of kids we disappointed because you was not getting this game, little dude.
The best is when the parent spoke Spanish and the kid assumed that none of us spoke Spanish or knew how to use Google Translate.
Exactly.
And yeah,
break it down.
Sorry,
for
no
them, let them
sorry.
know.
Sorry, no sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lo siento, esto jugar es no para tú. My boys have actually, like, when you talk about Fable, I can't tell you the number of times my son has played Fable and gone through it. One of the best trilogies. Oh, it's fantastic. One of the best trilogies for me had to be Morrowind, Oblivion, and then Skyrim. I know there were games prior to Morrowind because it was actually the Elder Scrolls, and Morrowind I think was the third one. But
yes,
at that point, the previous games had all been exclusive to PC, and so they weren't, regularly available. But console games, those three, probably one of the top trilogies.
I know they have mods to make Morrowind and Oblivion more accessible and better play experiences on PC. However, I would love to see some sort of remasters, not remakes necessarily, but remasters for the old Elder Scrolls games. And potentially the old Fallout games even.
I was about to say the Fallout games would be a great one for that, but they were one of those weird top-down bird's eye view games, and that was kind of different. So it'd be a weird transition coming from the first person aspect of Fallout and playing that style.
All they'd have to do is because they've re-released it before, and I've been kicking myself ever since for not getting it. But remember they were released like the full collection when we worked at GameStop, and like it was like in a little nuke for PC, and I hate myself that I didn't buy it. But like I think they could very easily release it, especially Bethesda, just as like a digital thing or whatever. Here's the old Fallouts re-released on Xbox One and the series consoles as well. And it just sell it in a bundle. If people end up not liking the first couple games, that's how it is.
You talk about an arm's reach.
Listen,
you asked about arm's reach the other day.
And Jack, I gotta put you on the floor. There we go. Hold on. If we see any other part of me, we're gonna ignore it. Okay.
Now,
look at that.
Alex is pointing out the duplication trick in Oblivion and filling a person's house with watermelons. That was hilarious. I liked being able to level my character. Oh,
Fallout statue.
Love it.
That's okay, here we go. That is the hammer.
I got
the hammer from 4.
I got a Nuka-Cola right over there.
Oh, this is a whole shrine. This whole shelf is a shrine. Give me a second. I'll take a picture and you can like pop it up in the thing.
Okay.
If you want to. No, I have a whole and my bathroom is Fallout themed. I'm slowly building it as well.
That's what's up.
Oh, hold on. I'll take this headset off.
I think when I was playing Morrowind, being able to basically hop everywhere and level up your character
difficult to maneuver
just by skipping, essentially. So you became the character from regular show. You were Skips who could do anything because all you had to do was hop and bounce, and it leveled your character up. You maxed out your stats that way.
Yep.
Talk about a glitch. That was amazing. The time period for games, for me, I would have to say between 98 and probably 01, 02, when first-person shooters like really came to the forefront, because we were still doing PC games were still a big thing, and I was playing Rainbow Six online. I was playing Half-Life online. Counter-Strike was a mod of Half-Life, and it hadn't become its own thing. So you had to like have a couple of computer skills and get the necessary mods to do that, to be able to play Counter-Strike. And then there was just like there was Quake Arena, there was like all of these Doom, and just all these first-person shooters. And then when Halo became so readily available, you talk about like LAN parties, man, that was like the way to go. And that was such a big thing for that time period. So for me, I would say that would be the epitome of gaming for me. Now, it was really funny because I was right at that point where I got married in 99. So I've been married forever. But I got married in 99. I've got 2 boys. I'm a gamer. And it's just like you talk about that balance. It's really hard to explain to my 20-year-old wife that I'm going to hang out with these guys for 6 hours to play video games. She was not trying to hear that. I got little kid, like, it was just one of those things. But then with the introduction of like true online gameplay and Xbox Live and things like that, because I bought a Dreamcast specifically so I could play online with my brother. We played Phantasy Star Online, and I had my character so ridiculously leveled up that I was doing nothing more than just dragging people through the game. I had gotten to the point I had a level 99 character whose name was, and I heard y'all talking shit earlier, but my character's name was Jedi, and he carried a laser sword, and he kicked everybody's ass. Okay. And so.
Yeah, but he wasn't in the movies we was talking about. So.
Right. But, and he was not about diplomacy, so maybe he would have been a better person had he been part of that Star Trek universe. But it was, for me, that had to be when online gaming became a tangible, realistic thing. Now, internet sucked, so it's nothing compared to what it is today. And just about every game that comes out has an online or multiplayer feature or something along the lines. And we've gotten to the point where even games like, your Call of Duties, their bread and butter is the online multiplayer. Their stories are starting to really get weak. It's the, couple-hour campaign just so that they can say it's there. But people want to do the zombies. They want to do the PvP death match, this, that, and the other. And so even games like you have the comparison between like your Battlefields and your Call of Duties, and the online arena for those 2 games is so significantly different that there is some toxicity. I believe there's more toxicity that exists in Call of Duty because they don't have a lot of gameplay elements that are revolving around the co-op aspect of multiplayer. Things like Destiny, they try to incorporate that with, Crucible, where it was 3-on-3, but still you could have one guy who could pretty much just carry the team on his back and just run it that way. But then they started introducing what was the game mode in Destiny, David, that had the gambler guy?
Oh, Gambit.
Wow, Gambler. Okay. But anyway, when you could play Gambit, now you had an element for people who enjoyed being able to play online, do the multiplayer, have a little bit more of a co-op aspect and not so much the competitive aspect. If all I want to do is take out ads and let you deal with the PvP part of it, cool. You could set up a team, and I had characters who were specifically designed to take out the AI characters. I had gotten past the point of wanting to even bother fighting against other people. That's why I'm not playing Crucible. I'm in Gambit for this very reason. But I've got a teammate. That's all he wants to do. So every time we open the portal, he's going over. He takes out all 3. He takes out all 4. And you get that balance. So online gaming as a whole, I think is, and again, from 98 to about 01, that's when I think for me, that's the period that gaming was. That's probably the highest point of gaming. It's there's been some obvious improvements since that time, but I would definitely lean and say that that's where it really stuck out for me, because that was where online gaming really took off. And I think that to me, it can only go up from there.
Yeah.
So Sam, I sent you this stuff, by the way.
I see it. I'm checking it out.
I mean, I think
that's not even all my Fallout stuff too, but that is a shower curtain you see there.
I see. Yeah, that's the Nuka-Cola I have. Oh, look, you got dog meat in armor.
Of course. Well, you have it actually came with 2 different heads. You could switch his head out with armor or without armor. And I had the 2 Nuka-Cola girls. I had the armor as like the like your character and like, you know, power armor as well, but I gave that one to my mom. So my mom also has, I got her the ray gun, and I have the rifle. And I got her the Nuka-Cola helmet as well. The power armor helmet, which you can wear and makes noise and everything. That's the one that got recalled by GameStop.
I remember
they didn't put the
I
they didn't put the mold package
Chris.
into it.
Remember the gauntlet? Chris came and what's Chris? Well, I'm not gonna put him on blast like that. But we had one of our regulars, Kale's dad on Twitch. He came in, and I remember he bought that Fallout gauntlet that would like pair up to your smartphone and stuff like that, and had the Pit Boy.
I don't remember. Oh, the one with the Pit Boy. Okay, I have a Pit Boy, but I don't have the one that you can put your phone into, because that's what it was. It was one you could put your phone in, and it came with a collector's edition of Fallout 4. Mm-hmm. I was not able to get the one that you put the phone in. That being said, it specifically worked with only like certain iPhones or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't do iPhones. I don't do Apple products. Samsung for me. Thank you. That being said, my Samsung was too large of a phone to fit into it. However, they did release eventually a version that you built yourself. So you build your own Pip Boy. I have it. It's upstairs. I did build it. It took me like 3 hours.
I'm gonna have to look into that, or actually, I may have to talk to somebody about 3D printing one. That'll probably be the next thing I get into is 3D printing. My son has gotten into this Warhammer miniatures and painting and airbrushing and going all in. He bought this game at GameStop the other day. It's a board game. It's called Total Quest, I believe is the name of it. It's $130 board game.
So all right.
Bro, Monopoly's like $30. What is $130 board game? I got questions, and I don't think I'm gonna like any of the answers, so I'm not gonna ask them.
It's gonna be your favorite game. Watch.
It better be. For $130, it better play for me.
Now
I better win every time.
You can buy the Fallout Pip Boy on Amazon. They have it, but it's like, I think it's the one that uses the Bluetooth or whatever.
I actually got the Pip Boy for my Android watch for my gear.
I did have one for my gear. Yeah, I had that layout. But like my Gear 2's, like the battery on it completely just decided to drop off the face of the earth after literally 1 year of use. Like it wouldn't last 3 hours, and I had to start recharging it after that. And I was like, so I'm about to say, you remember I had the Gear 2 when we worked together.
I had the Neo with the camera on it.
Well, aren't you fancy?
That thing took the worst pictures.
But yeah,
you know what? That's funny, because here's a hot take. I know we kind of got away from some of our hot takes, but here's a hot take. And this is not meant to incite, but it's just like, as geeks, I found the number one thing that we have to do is we have to have that competitive side, that something has to be compared constantly. That seems to be the one staple. And one of the very first things that comes to mind is, as you pointed out, because here I am with my Note 20, and I've been Samsung since day one. In fact, I hate that BlackBerry didn't do better when Android came around, because I really wanted to stay with my BlackBerry. But I finally made the jump, and I got myself an Android, and I haven't looked back. I have an iPhone for work, and I hate it. But I was at work the other day, and I saw a customer using her iPhone, and the way she was navigating and moving through that screen to do the things that need to be done. I was very impressed, because I was like, I didn't know you could do all that on an iPhone. I thought you would have to have an Android to navigate the screen that well.
So you can. iPhone's like 2-3 years behind on most Android, on a lot of Android features. I won't say most, but a lot of Android features. And then iPhone will discover those or implement them later and then act like it's a brand new feature. And
but I will say, every time I've seen iPhone implement something that Android already has, they kind of jazz it up a little bit. And I can't necessarily say they make it better.
They have to do something with it because it's old technology they're implementing on newer stuff. So it's like, okay, we didn't come out with it first, but we came out with it later and we made it slightly better. So there's that, which I mean, Android already does that anyway with their stuff. They have something else they've implemented. And by the time iPhone gets around to doing it, Android's already caught up to whatever the new thing is that iPhone has also incorporated with it or has made it better. Like Android was the first one to do facial recognition for your unlock screen, right? Then when iPhone did it, yes, it worked really well. It worked better than like the first Androids that were able to do that
because you had to like match up your irises just right. My son could actually unlock my phone.
Exactly. But like by the time Apple introduced it, Android had already gotten up to the same point that Apple had gotten to when they introduced it as well. So it was, if it wasn't at least at the same level that it was whenever it was introduced, then I'd be like, listen, y'all need to calm down. Listen, it's okay.
But and it's like when you introduce it the way Apple does, I'm gonna jump in as a staunch Apple guy.
Not a problem. We need this healthy debate.
Only because I'm in the ecosystem.
You mean as a basic Taylor Swift? I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. You know why? Because I'm not a tech person. When I get a phone, I want to plug it in and I want it to work. I don't want to upload.
I don't gotta upload do anything.
I don't want to do none of that stuff.
I don't gotta do none of that.
Well, like, no, I'm not saying you have to, but like when I hear tech people sell me on why Samsung is better, it's like, well, with Apple, you're limited to blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't need to customize it. It's a phone.
Thing, though. Not only do I have, it's because I have the option of customization, whereas with Apple, I wouldn't have that. So whether I want to do it or not, it does what Apple does and more.
Well, the point that I was trying to make about what Sam was saying was, I think that there's a difference between introducing it first and introducing it right. And I think like
I'll give you that
part of jazzing it up, but also like most of the time when Apple introduces stuff, it works. Well, and a lot of times when you're introducing something for the first time, it either is buggy or it's like what you were saying with the iris thing, where it's like you have facial recognition, but it's a weird facial recognition thing that's hard to use. I'm going to give you
a metaphor, okay? Say you have two bakeries, right?
Yeah.
Bakery number 1, right? Comes out with an apple pie, right?
Yeah.
Great apple pie. Now, before this, no bakeries did apple pies, right?
Yeah.
And bakery number 2, 3 years later, also comes out with apple pie.
But they come out with a Dutch apple pie.
Apple pie with cinnamon and strudel and all.
Like
however, bakery number 1 at this point has also updated their original apple pie to also include.
But if I went to your bakery and your pie wasn't good, I'm not going back to figure out 3 years later.
That's the thing, though. They continue to develop the technology, and that's what Apple takes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing,
I know
though.
that. But
Samsung,
my other thing too is I'm not trying to convince people that
Android,
Apple is better. I just feel like it works better for some people. Android works better for other people.
Apple waits until the technology is better perfected and then introduces it. However, Samsung is the innovative one and continues to perfect it. So it still exists. This way I have access to something new, even when it's in its more buggy stages, but I have first access to it as soon as it's ready to update versus having to go and buy a brand new iPhone.
But if it doesn't work as well until a certain point, and Apple is introducing it also at that point,
it's not like they're introducing.
I'm saying I don't want to be on the ground floor with that.
But here's the thing: that's the difference. That's the difference between people who. But see, that's the difference between people who want to play the beta and people who want to play it with all the updates. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with having that innovation. And I'm an Android person through and through, but even I have to admit that one of the things that Apple does, and I will give them straight credit for it. They have, if you have an iPhone, an iPad, and an iMac or a MacBook, whatever the terminology is correct.
Both of them are things.
Okay. If you have that, when you have a contact list, it is the same. Period.
So
If you create a note, it is the same.
Basically,
period.
And this is the thing I'll give, and this is why Apple is popular. It panders to people who are they're not technology people.
Streamlines simplicity.
Yes, they're not technology people.
It's not even so much that they're not technology people. It streamlines simplicity.
That's the thing, though. You can do the same stuff on Android products, mostly through the everything else that's included. Because Apple is like, we have our exclusive club, and that's it. Whereas Android is like, whoever wants to participate in this can. Google has their own phones and stuff. However, Google Cloud and everything else that you can use it all on Android. So like I can do all the same things on Apple that I can do on my custom built PC, my Samsung Galaxy phone, and what do I have? I have what tablets do I have? I have a Google Nexus and I have a Fire tablet. I can access my Google stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
I can access my Google Drive. If I do a note on there, it immediately shows up on anything else. Like it does the same thing.
But see, the difference there is, and not to say that it's a major difference. That difference is you could access your Google Drive on an iPhone.
You can
because it is cloud-based, whereas the Apple infrastructure, it is a seamless transition between their iOS service. That's what makes it simple.
That's what ticks me off with Apple. It's overpriced and it doesn't play nice with others. That's why I've never liked Apple.
But it plays really well with each other.
Oh yeah, it can play with itself all night long, but it doesn't play nice with others.
But hey, at the end of the day, as long as somebody's playing,
what's more fun, playing by yourself
or playing
all night
with
long,
others,
or playing with others all night long?
Depends on the game.
So, welcome to Grown A Geeks After Dark.
Depends on the game and depends on who's on the controller.
So like this is my Android phone, right?
Right.
I change out my stuff all the time. This is a Samsung Galaxy 20 5G Max, whatever the hell it's called, right?
21 Plus Ultra.
Not a 21. This is a 20. We're due for an update. We're due for an upgrade this year.
20 Plus Ultra then.
So like I do these all the time, right? Like with the things where I can do like I can customize all the little features and like icons and stuff. I've been able to do that since my first smartphone, which was a Droid Razr M. Right? And I'm sure it existed before that. Droid Razr M also had, this was back in like 2012, 2013.
I remember the Droid Razr M.
Yes. Actually, wow. Sam, you know who I bought my Droid Razr M from? God, what's his name? Hold on. I have to look it up. He's on my friends list, I think. No? Oh, why am I blanking on his name? He worked at Radio Shack. He was also a GameStop person. He worked in the Covington store. For Radio Shack.
Tom?
No. Brian. Brian Roseberry.
Roseberry.
Yes.
Oh, that's my boy.
Roseberry sold me my Droid Razr M. Guess what?
Out.
That did the facial recognition. Then I remember seeing a commercial for iPhone like 2 years later. And they had that whole campaign of, you can unlock your phone with your face. I'm like, girl, I've been able to do that for 2 years. And I came on.
Sound like they need better marketing over there than if they doing all this stuff and everybody's.
No, because do you have?
I mean, what they need to do is they need to get JP and T17 to drop some actual artwork to show what it can actually do.
It's a cult at this point, and to be honest, like this is why I try and say specifically, it's
There are some people who are cultish about it, but there are also people who are cultish about in the anti space as well. And I feel like it's like, does it work for you? And so for me, I'm like, I don't customize my icons. I don't need that, even if it is a thing. And I understand your point, of wanting to have the option. But for me with tech, I'm not really looking for options. I'm just looking for can I run what I need to run? And is it going to work? And is it going to work with my other stuff? And because I am so deep in Apple now, I'm stuck and I know it, but I'm cool because they're giving me what I need.
See, what ticks me off more than anything else is number one, I've been bullied a lot for being not pro Apple, not even anti Apple. but just not pro Apple, right? It's a classist thing as well. Like I've never really been able, like now I can,
So,
but like in the past, I haven't been able to afford Apple.
So let me say something. Let me speak
I tell
on that
people
part.
I tell people all the time,
So-
like I am a graphic artist. I literally use Apple because historically it is the best platform for the programs that I need to run, and that's why I'm in.
Yes and no. I think that's more or less subjective because they have.
Or it's
things
easier for
do
me to.
well.
It's easier for me to get a Apple computer that works for what I need for graphic design than to build a PC because I can't. I'm not going to build it.
Boy, I found the hot take tonight, didn't I?
Even your mid-tier, like $500-$600 PC pre-built can run stuff that you need to be to do graphic design work. Trust me, I know this too because I was in that as well.
I'm not saying you don't know stuff. I'm not attacking your knowledge.
I'm not saying. I'm
just saying
that,
from my perspective,
you don't have to spend $1,200+ on an Apple.
You don't. You don't have to spend $1,200 on an Apple computer either because you can buy it refurbished. You don't have to buy it brand new. I do think that there is the cult
even
of
refurbished.
I gotta have.
David, have you watched Shield Hero next season yet?
Hold on,
my main point was this. I am a person who
I'm vibing.
I spend less. I want to spend less time on the tech side and more time on the doing what I got to do side. It's easier for, and I have had the experience personally of having an easier time with Apple. So I stayed there. I understand customization. People want to do so. I agree it's overpriced. I agree it's a classist thing. I think it's whack that people look down on people for not having iPhones or not having Macs. I tell people all the time, if you're not a graphic designer, you don't need to have a MacBook. You just look like you want it because you wanted it. And if you want it because you want it, that's cool too. But I'm not one of those people where it's like, for me in my like tech ecosystem, that's what works. But I don't think it works for everybody. I'm not trying to sell anybody for or against it. I'm just saying you gotta find what works for you.
My second point to that, aside from the fact that in general, Android people or people who don't have Apple products are bullied for it and have been bullied for it for the past 20 years at the very least. It's a thing of, for me growing up poor, I hate the idea of spending more money on something when you can do it the exact same way or better for cheaper. And so for me, it's a frustration thing. Like it doesn't take much to learn something like this, whether it's from an artistic point of view, whether it's traditional media, whether it's using a tablet, using a drawing tablet, doing photography, any of that, you can do all of it on a PC and Android.
Well,
as well, if not better and cheaper. Let me finish my thing here. Okay. Then you could with Apple. And for me, it's like I said, it's just frustrating to see all these people spending, like literally throwing away this money, in my opinion, throwing away this money on a bunch of Apple products just because it's slightly easier. Whenever it's not even necessarily easier, it's just because you haven't learned how to utilize Android and non-Apple products to all integrate and work together well. And even use Apple products. So
let me touch that one point right there. The integration part. That is something that and I'm gonna just give a true to life example. My dad wants to. He doesn't have the interest, the time, or the capacity to learn it at this point. And the fact that his iPhone does it for him, I'm recommending for my dad to get that iPhone because he doesn't have to figure it out. Now, I'll pick on my sons because I know that they could do it and they choose not to. So the fact that they went and they got on the iPhone train, I was like, okay, why?
That plays into my frustration there. Apple should not be an industry standard, right? It should be a standard for people who are not tech-based, but it should not be an industry standard. If you're someone who does not know how to use technology, and that is something you are not comfortable with, especially with the continuing advancement, and you want something else, and it's totally fine. If you want a company to hold your hand and you can afford to pay the crazily overpriced.
But see, at the same time, you got a
prices for that?
Samsung 21 or 20 plus, so you are no longer part of that conversation.
No, because I'm not just like that's just phones, right? Phones in general, all of them are about the same price. You can get overpriced phones, whatever.
No, because here's the funny thing about Android and Apple
is just as expensive. Oh no, Samsungs are the same like parts.
Right. So now when we talk about Android and Apple,
I'm talking about going into this whole time we've been talking about all Apple products in general, not just iPhones.
Right.
Talking about iMacs, talking about iPads, talking about So like I prefer a custom built PC. Give me the amount of money that you would spend on even a used Apple product from 10 years ago. Because people still charge stupid prices for those. And let me put that into a PC. Not even one I build myself, right? Just one I can buy pre-built. You spend just an hour even of your time researching this or looking into it yourself. They have Reddits, like whole subreddits.
Even before you get to any type of research or anything that's required, I can make that very simple because having been in the PC industry for quite some time, let me say this. Windows has the largest market share when it comes to computers.
Yeah.
As a result, the people who get a Mac, the people who get if you go out to buy a laptop and you come back with a Dell, a HP, a Compaq, whoever the hell at Asus or whoever makes laptops now, you could get any laptop. It could run Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 11. It could have any of those. And that's one thing. And then separately, you have this option over here to either get a Mac. You get a MacBook Pro, you can get a MacBook Air, you can get whatever. It's going to run iOS. You run Windows versus iOS. Windows still has the largest market share when it comes to computers. So the handful of people that go out there and get that Mac, they're not getting that Mac necessarily. I would say that more times than not, the people who are going out getting that Mac who are not needing it because it comes preloaded with stuff like GarageBand, because it comes preloaded with stuff like iMovie, because it comes preloaded just because that's a part of the operating system. Windows Movie Maker is nowhere as good as iMovie. That's just one example. And for the most part, and this is kind of, I think, the point that Jeff, and don't let me speak for you, but I think this is the point Jeff is making. When you get in there and you don't have the time, effort, or energy to invest into any of that learning because you need it to work right out the box, a Mac tends to do that. You have to pay a little bit more.
Why does Apple charge so much more and prey on these people? That's the thing, though. That's why I hate them so much. They prey on these people.
But you can't be mad at the person don't be mad at the person who got preyed on. Like, and I look at it legitimately.
I'm mad at the people who bully me, and less mad at the people who are just like
pissed at them for you.
It's more trying to. It's not the best way about doing it. I admit that because I let my emotions get in the way. However, like it's trying to say, listen, you could do all these things for less money and not bother with an Apple product.
Let me tell you something. I spent a number of years going outside cutting my grass because I owned a lawnmower and I had the time. I now have gotten to a point in my life where I work a job and I can pay my brother to come do this shit every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Guess what I'm not finna do?
That's fine. But when
not finna do it.
When you have people who go through and like,
before I had a job that would pay it, I would have paid my dad to do it just because I didn't want
David and I don't even own a lawnmower. We have someone else do it because we pay for it. However, they're not like, if we were in a position where we couldn't afford that, we would absolutely have to go other alternative routes. However, if we were led to believe that in order for us to have the best lawn, we have to pay for someone else to come do it for us, that's what's disgusting about it.
That is I'm gonna go with Jeff on that. That's capitalism. You can't change
that. Isn't that how lawn services do?
That's marketing.
It's like,
right. That's
we're gonna make your lawn look the best.
No,
now the way Apple does it.
Have a basic lawn, and like I just need my grass cut.
But no,
I know, but it's like an Elf when it's like best cup of coffee in the world, and it's just some like New York cup of
And
coffee that's like whatever.
That's what I mean. You guys are
Colombian
all
dark
you guys are
roast.
all just completely feeding in this whole, like, you're feeding in exactly what I'm saying. It's capitalism, and that's bad. It's a bad form of capitalism. It's a preying, disgusting form of capitalism. Of I'm going to prey on people, like people who cannot.
Good night, Russell.
Good night, Russell. People who cannot afford, who cannot actually really realistically afford these Apple products. There's no reason they should be charging this much.
I'll
we
just
can-
say
we
this
can
in
make
terms
it
of the
real.
bullying. I feel like I understand what you're saying. Bullying for any reason is whack. Bullies are cowards. Bullies are people who talk about stuff because they don't like themselves. So those people who are bullying people because they think they have some sort of status from an iPhone, like if
Your
you think
text
your
message
status and
green,
your value comes
your
from
text
owning
message
Like,
blue.
a phone, then you're a loser. And I think we can all agree on that.
Thank
I had
you.
And
a
so my point
conversation-
of the conversation was not coming from a standpoint of trying to look down on stuff. Because when you come to my house, it's like, yeah, I'm part of the machine and I recognize that, but I bought into it not because Apple came in and like slithered into my bed late at
Sold
night
you
and
on
whispered into my ear. It's just like
that's totally
that's the
fine.
ecosystem that I've been
It's just-
working in since I became a professional. It's the
Like-
operating system I'm most comfortable with at this point. And so I just stayed over time.
So it's like
And
I went to, when I was in college, I was an art major for a period of time, right? And I had people who came from poor families that were, because I didn't go to like a super expensive school, you know? So I had people that came from poor families and they felt that they couldn't do what they needed to do unless they had a Mac, unless they had Apple products. And I'm like, listen, you can do all this stuff with Adobe, the same stuff, and you can get yourself a mid-tier laptop, costs you $400 or $500. And
yeah,
you can
but
do
there's
all
not
this
enough
that.
people that's like walking people through that either. And so it's like if you come
that's
up
the thing,
and you're like, I'm not
Max,
tech savvy.
Like, that's what I'm talking about though. This the standard for the art community, whether that's music, whether that's like, you know, like it should not be something that is unobtainable or will end up ruining people's lives because they go into debt trying to get these things so they can be legit. So you can be legit without it's a talent thing. It's learning the how to actually capture those forms. It's learning techniques. It has nothing to do with the fact that whether or not you can afford a custom, like, you know, a brand new MacBook or a used MacBook, or, you know, and a tablet to go along with it, or a custom built PC,
So
or a laptop.
Let me say this, and tell me if I'm out of place here. But when you talk about anything that is a picture of status or a picture of productivity or a picture of capability, every single marketing campaign that exists is telling you that you can't be your best unless you get our product. Steve Jobs just did a better job of walking out on stage with blue jeans and a black turtleneck and convincing people.
And I'm not saying that those other things aren't just as disgusting.
But, and so it's like, in a sense, I get where it comes from, but I think to shoehorn into just one thing to say that this is the problem, it is a general concept, because you have people who think like, well, check this out. So here we go. I now have a good job. I've been on my good job for a number of years. And now I am going and I'm saying, you know what? I need a new car. Well, because I have a good job and I make good money, I need to get a good car. Automatically, just by default, the reactionary part of me says, I need to go and get me a Mercedes, a BMW, a Lexus, some sort of luxury car that says I have worked and achieved this point in my life. When it was all said and done, you know what I bought? I bought me a Hyundai Veloster because it had every feature I wanted. It had the color and the options that I wanted, and I liked the price. I could have very easily fallen victim to my old mentality, because I used to say, I'm going to have a BMW by the time I'm 40. I have people in my family that got BMWs, and I said to myself, if these individuals, these people, if these people have BMWs, then it don't mean shit to have a BMW. It really don't mean shit to have a BMW. And so it became less about which vehicle I got and what vehicle made me happy. I love Wally West. I got a 2016 Hyundai Veloci. That bitch is fast, it's red, it's pretty, and it gets up the road. I got my Bluetooth, I got my rear view camera, I got my keyless entry, I got my push to start. That thing is banging, and you can't tell me my car ain't the shit, because every time I get in, I'm excited to drive it. You have people that go out and they get excited the same way I am about my car over what phone they have, over what TV they have, over what computer they have, over the computer they built, over look at this PS5 thing. You got people out there who literally spent thousands of dollars to get a PS5 to play PS4 games, because it ain't but like 5 fucking PS5 games. But they had to have that shit day one, because that's what I needed to know that I've done what I needed to do in my life. The capitalism as a whole is a whole other conversation. And I get why it's triggering for you. And you know I love you to death. But I'm going to just tell you, let that anger go, because that shit exists across everything.
See, that's the thing.
No, hold on. You have stepped up and you got an Android, you got a Samsung 20 Plus Ultra. You are not part of that conversation anymore, boo-boo, because you got a Samsung. When they talk about Android,
I've got a 2-year-old Samsung. Like,
but when you talk about Android versus Apple, that's not the same conversation about Samsung versus Apple.
Samsung versus Apple is the same thing.
You was in the same conversation.
I'm talking about my computer here too. My custom built PC, not just my Samsung. But my custom built PC.
Everybody who knows anything about custom built personal computers, we gonna fix that.
That's the thing, though. That's another stereotype.
Everybody who knows anything
you can do
about custom built personal computers.
That's a stereotype about custom built PCs being super expensive.
They're really not.
They're not. Really not. You can build like David. How much did mine cost? $500. How much did you pay? $500 roughly. That's what you told me. $500-$600. Yeah. That's all mine cost. Mine's not top tier. Mine's not top of the line, but I can play just about anything that comes out. I can play most stuff on ultra high graphics. Can I do that on your cheapest brand new MacBook you can play? No. That's another reason why I don't like Mac 2 is that it's not for gaming. But like, yeah, Mac's not for
software is not built for gaming.
Mac's not built for gaming. But like in general, I think for me, like I said, it's a bullying thing and it's a classist thing. And that's why I don't like it. And it's a capitalist thing, if you want to put that in there too. I'm not a fan of modern day capitalism, American modern capitalism. It doesn't work. That's a whole other thing altogether.
It works
the way it's designed to, but the way it's designed to work is not to help people.
If it actually worked in a way to actually benefit the population, then we wouldn't be in the situation we're in now.
Oh, we can't even talk about that, because we got pharmaceutical companies charging XYZ for damn shit that'll keep you alive.
I am crossing my fingers I never end up getting diabetes, and I haven't yet, despite the fact it runs very heavily in my family. Yeah, so good news on that. I still don't have diabetes. So
yeah, well, keep eating
you
right.
fat phobic people can suck it, you know.
Well, keep eating right and run it that way.
I've got lots of actual documented medical proof now that a lot of my weight issues are from actual medical issues. And it's not just lose weight and your issues will go away. It's I am heavy because of the medical issues. Take care of those, then I can lose weight. That's how it works.
That is exactly how it works. I've been married 24 years, and I can tell you that's how that shit works. I had to sit through some surgeries, and some shit changed. And we had to get to a point where surgeries were possible. But yeah, so we gon'
also, everybody, I need to use the restroom anyway, so I'll be right.
Okay, so everybody, we gon' Woosah, have a Woosah moment. David, talk to me about Ruby. And do we have any new news about the new season? Real quick while I'm thinking about it.
New season. Absolutely the fuck not. We don't.
Because I no, Linda posted something not too long ago and it was talking about Ruby and I needed details and you haven't provided me details yet.
What she has provided is that is the anime adaptation. Yeah. Was it Ruby?
Let me make sure I understand. Anime adaptation. So was Ruby not considered an anime before?
No, it was not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I know Rooster Teeth produced it.
It is anime inspired.
Okay.
But now it is getting a
and that goes back to the conversation about Avatar not truly being an anime,
right?
But being anime inspired. See, full circle. I've been
and
here the whole time.
And inspiring the next generation to love anime.
I told you it was a gateway. I call it. Did you see my comment? I told you it was a gateway. I agree. It was definitely a gateway.
But what was it called? Ruby Ice Queendom. It is, from what I can tell, it is it's retelling the first volume. From what I can tell. Again, don't really know too much. Actually, I'm going to look at it right now because I believe there is a manga called Ruby Ice Queendom. Hold on.
It seems like it would have to kind of focus on the Shmi family.
Ruby Ice Queendom.
Just, I don't know. They don't really do elements, so ice isn't,
Well, Weiss primarily deals with ice, the ice
right,
element.
and that's kind of why I was like, it seems like it would be the Shmi family, but I don't know. David got me into Ruby on accident. He was talking about it. He was talking about it. I was like, what is this? What?
I just started watching the anime the other day.
What you start watching?
I'm always like scared to say what animes I'll be watching because I'm always like,
let me tell you something.
I'm gonna watch one and then I'm like, man, that's some garbage. I started watching Tiger and Bunny on Netflix.
No, Tiger and Bunny's good.
I'm enjoying it.
Good. Yeah, Tiger and Bunny's good.
I'm enjoying it.
It's not my favorite, but it's good. It's real good.
I think, but like that, I'm liking that. I'm liking the storytelling and like kind of the style. And then I really liked, I think it was Super Crooks that came out earlier.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I think like you were saying on one stream we did before, you were like, you just need to find like the right anime for you and like right anime style. And so I'm kind of just like, I don't think Dragon Ball Z is my thing. And I mean, but I like Sailor Moon. I think I just like anime set in cities because I was enjoying Hero for a while too. My Hero for a while. I just got to go back to it.
See, Sailor Moon Crystal, though, is that good stuff. If you like Sailor Moon, like the original. Oh, yeah. Look, Sam, I just want to love her. Why won't she let me love her?
She is very particular about her love. That's all I can say.
That being said, so is this one.
So
was this one? So
looking into it again, Ruby Ice Queendom, it does not have a manga. It's gonna release like in tandem with the anime. So yeah.
Cool.
But honestly, Jeffrey, though, if you haven't watched Sailor Moon Crystal, go watch Sailor Moon Crystal. So Sailor Moon Crystal, if you've seen the original anime and you like it, Crystal is more closely related to
I started watching it like 3 weeks ago.
I got a perfect analogy for that, actually. Have you seen Full Metal Alchemist?
No.
Okay, never mind then.
What was the analogy?
Crystal is Sailor everyone Moon else without the filler.
Basically for everyone else, Sailor Moon Crystal.
It's just storyline that actually like
matters.
Yeah, matters.
Yeah, because it is
not like here. Let me teach you a lesson about here's okay.
to put it simply, Sailor Moon Crystal is basically the Brotherhood of Sailor Moon.
So do y'all remember in the 90s when they used to do
sisterhood? I love it.
Do y'all remember in the 90s when they used to do a lot of preaching to children about doing the right thing?
Yes.
Don't do drugs, don't lie. That
kind of, 90s were very blurry for me. I'm trying to recall.
Sailor Moon had a whole
high school years.
The Deke version of Sailor Moon that came out in the 90s had that whole Sailor Moon Says, which I thought was hilarious because Sonic the Hedgehog, the Adventure Sonic the Hedgehog, had the same thing. David,
Yep.
you remember that, right? Sonic says
It's basically like the G.I. Joe, the knowing
there
it's
we
half
go.
the battle.
All right,
it.
now I know what you're
I'm
talking
like,
about.
I'm like,
The
what-
more you
what-
know,
I was like,
Why
we're
do you
losing
all-
Sam. Go
why
older.
don't
Go
y'all think-
the
older.
more you know with the little star, the more you know.
Yeah.
Okay, all
It was
right.
the same
all right.
thing. It did not.
No, G.I. Joe.
They shoehorned it into the
And knowing
deep
is half the
edition
battle.
of Sailor Moon, and like,
It'd be like random clips from like the episode, but like
Yeah.
not about the thing.
and then like the voice actress like doing
Yeah.
like a little like overwork. Like,
My homeboy is the
Mm.
voice actor who was the original Tuxedo Mask from the Deke version.
see,
He did
and
like
that's
all the dubs.
you know what? Give him my love, because the Deke the voice acting from the original dubs for Sailor Moon, Deke and whatever, right? The 90s ones. And that's the original series through Super S. They didn't do stars. Was the superior voice acting cast. They did replace Usagi or Serena, Sailor Moon herself, about midway through. I think S and Super S is a different voice actress. However, they got someone who tried to sound at least similar. If you
Mhm.
listen to the newer version of Sailor Moon, the newer English version of Sailor Moon, it's horrible. It sounds exactly like normal like anime these days, where all the women sound exactly the same. If you were just listening to it and you weren't watching it, you wouldn't know who is which Sailor Scout. They all sound exactly the same. Exactly the same, and I hate it.
Well, that's disappointing.
But like Tuxedo Mask, I love Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah,
He's
was like,
so
we were like
useful.
at a party and like
And I love it.
he brought it up. Somebody brought it up, and I was like, wait, what? And then he just started doing like the voice, and I was just like, this is crazy.
Like he's that's the best. I love.
He
Tuxedo
also
Mask.
played the crooked manager in the first Cheetah Girls movie, if anyone remembers that.
I've got a
what's
daughter,
his
so
name?
yes, I remember that.
It's okay, Sam. You don't have to use the daughter as an excuse.
No.
Cheetah Girls was fire.
So it's
That
Vincent
last movie,
Vincent
yes.
Carrazza.
Yes.
Yes.
Vince, what's up?
Most or Vince, yes. Or I guess Vincent and Vince, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, his name's Vincent, but since I know him, I call him Vince.
Well, it says Vince and then also says Vincent, and I'm like, wait a second.
Well, you know,
yeah,
you gotta have whatever your celebrity name is gonna be.
Apparently he was someone in the show Brace Face, if y'all remember that. But yeah, no, Sailor Moon, like, oh, David, he was Zexion. David?
Zexion in Kingdom Hearts?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was
See, I knew
Carlos
that one.
Oliveira in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
So he got like an N. Okay, so Jeff, we're gonna talk later because it sounds like your boy got an N on voice acting.
No, yeah, he's like him. Like I know him and a few other people. They're like he's like big. He's like
But no, like the
Because
the
I've always
original
felt as
original
though
English
I could
voice
do some
acting for
voice
Sailor
acting.
Moon. The
That's
original
my
voice
shooting my
acting for Sailor
shot.
Moon was superior, absolutely superior. No hate towards the people who did the newer stuff. There's still people. They still need money. However, they're literally just
Wow.
like that's what
They
what
need
people
money.
want.
Not
They
they're
need
doing
money.
a job.
This is
Not
their
they're doing a
job.
good job. Not they're doing a good
And
job.
and to be complete. Oh God, what am I hitting? I'm hitting my camera. To be completely fair, they're literally just following the trend right now with anime voice acting. That's all it is. It's a horrible trend, but they're following it because that's their job and they need money. Like nothing.
Everybody's not going to jump out there and be a Cree Summers or a Steve Bloom. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to have everyone's not. There are people who have voices that match characters, and then you have people who have iconic voices. You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference in those two. You know what? I don't know if it came up tonight. If it did and I missed it, I apologize. But you have people who have voices like your Guilford Godfreys, who have an iconic voice, just the way he sounds all the time, every time. It's always going to be burned into your brain. And then to like really lean into that, like, you know, you take somebody like a Bobcat Goldthwait, you know what I'm saying?
I was literally just thinking him.
Has an iconic sound, and it's like you cannot mistake that for anything else.
Not everyone can be a Bob Carter.
No, you know what I'm saying? And even if you take like like I mentioned earlier, Steve Bloom, I recognize his voice no matter what character he's playing. And it tends to be all of the characters that I think it's going to be. But as a result, I know that it's him. And the fact that he's so many of the characters that I like, even though it's technically the same voice a lot of times, it's okay. Because that voice still fits that character each time. And truthfully, I believe that's what voice acting is. You know what I'm saying? Like if you see somebody who doesn't speak, in your head, you kind of picture what they sound like. And then when they open their mouth and talk, if it doesn't match, you're a little thrown. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, you take a Mike Tyson. You hear Mike Tyson talk and you're a little thrown because Mike Tyson talks like Mike Tyson talks. And you would expect something maybe a little different. At this point, we already know what Mike Tyson sounds like, so it doesn't have the same effect. But if you never knew that part and you walked up and you saw the tribal tattoo on the side of the face and Mike just came up and started speaking, you would be really thrown by that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like voice acting, I think in a lot of cases doesn't really get, well, I'm not going to say it doesn't get the respect, but I think a lot of people overlook the iconic aspect of a particular sound and the way that sound matches, because you could completely ruin something, especially when you talk about anime or animation in general, because it doesn't have to be anime. It could just be a straight up cartoon.
Right.
Bob's Burgers would not be the same if it didn't have H. John Benjamin doing the voice for Bob.
Oh, you know, it's a good example. Silent Hill 2 and 3. When they did the HD remake, they replaced the voice actors. And and that's the thing. Okay, so with the Silent Hill, hold on. David, who's the guy that I keep complaining about with Silent Hill 2 that they replaced James for?
Nolan North?
I believe so, yes.
Or Troy Baker?
You know what? I was about to say, that actually goes back to every time Nolan North has been replaced. What's the other one? Not Nolan North.
Troy Baker.
No. Firefly.
Nathan Fillion?
Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion gets a lot of voice work.
It was Troy Baker. Yeah.
But
that was Silent Hill.
You know what I'm saying? And
I don't know what his voice sound like.
Yes, you do.
That's the funny part. You really do.
No, you know what his voice sounds like.
You know what? Because I always confused him with Jason Bateman.
So I will say with Silent Hill.
Yeah. You know what?
And that's Silent
okay.
Hill 2,
I get why. Yeah.
Silent Hill 2 originally had Guy Chihi is the voice actor behind the main character, James Sunderland, right? Mm-hmm. Now, there was a whole issue with the HD remake. I think it was something to do with payment. Either they didn't want to pay them like an updated amount for the voice work with releasing the HD remake. Because they're like, listen, it became really popular. We weren't really paid enough for how popular it did originally. So we'd like to be paid more for using our voices for this. Either that or it was something along the lines of, what was it? That's right. They didn't want to pay them for it. I'm sorry. I have it pulled up now on the screen. They didn't want to pay residuals to reuse their voices for the HD remake. So rather than paying them the residuals, they hired a whole new voice cast for Silent Hill 2 and completely killed the tone for the HD remake for Silent Hill 2 because they did it in a more modern voice acting take, which they did it in more of an anime style where everyone had very generic voice work, because video games fell to a similar issue to voice acting in anime, especially in the 2010s and onward, where everyone had very generic voices and everyone kind of sounded the same. The men all kind of sounded the same, women all kind of sounded the same, and you had like 2 or 3 different types of men and women, and they would all sound the same. You had like your more goofy character, you had your more aloof character, you had your kind of ditzy character, whatever, and they all use the same kind of voice.
Right.
And any kids that were voiced or any men that were either portrayed as childish or actually teenage or younger were always voice acted by women. And it's the same kind of voice work that was done by these women to make them sound like young boys. It's very obvious and very see-through. But yeah, so they did that with the Silent Hill HD remakes. That's with 2 and 3. Completely lost the original charm, because the voice work was a very, very, very significant role in Silent Hill 2, especially, and 3. 3 I don't really care as much about, but 2 is very important to me.
We were talking about the Silent Hill trilogy earlier, so yes, you said 3 was the weak link. 3
is the weak link. Like, in 3, if they had kept with the supposed original theme of 3, then it would have, in my opinion, probably would have been much better. But it's also it was definitely the wrong time period for that. 3 would have, the supposed rumored original storyline for 3 would have worked in today's terms, but not back when it was released originally, not back in the early 90s. Right. Especially considering how quickly they rushed out 3 and 4. 3 and 4 were developed alongside of each other. And 4 was released a year later, if I recall correctly. But 3 originally,
like movies now. Let's go ahead and do both games together, release them separately.
3 originally was not supposed to be a sequel to 1. People who know Silent Hill 1 and 3 are connected. Silent Hill 3 is a continuation of 1. Silent Hill Origins is a prequel to 1. Silent Hill 2 does have a place in the timeline, but is not directly related to 1, 3, or Origins. But yeah, Silent Hill 3 was originally not supposed to be connected to 1. It was not supposed to be a sequel to the storyline. Silent Hill 3 was...
You over here talking like Superman, Superman 2, and Superman Returns. Wait a minute. Don't do that.
Don't
talk about a spiritual successor.
Don't push me into the movies, because the Silent Hill 2 movie is not the same as Silent Hill 2 the game. Ooh. Silent Hill 2 the movie goes after the storyline of Silent Hill 3 the video game. It completely skipped 2, which is a shame, because 2 is like great. And they still put Pyramid Head in for some reason, which makes no sense.
Because how can you do Silent Hill and not have Pyramid Head?
Because Pyramid Head Pyramid Head only exists because of James Sunderland in Silent Hill 2. He has nothing to do with anyone else, because he is specifically a manifestation of James's guilt, not anyone else's.
Pyramid Head and the nurses, for those people who for those people who are not completely invested in the story and the games and the whole 9, those 2 characters are the visual reminders that they exist. You know Silent Hill because of Pyramid Head and those weird nurses.
Sexy nurses. Oh. That's why
Silent Hill 4 it's hard to be.
Silent Hill 4 had the best nurses because they weren't sexy, and they burped when you hit them. Best Silent Hill game with the nurses.
I think outside of Silent Hill, because it sounds like there was some real traumatic changes that took place with the voice acting that took place on Silent Hill. Yes. I think perhaps the only other time, or the only example I can think of is, and it's funny because again, it goes back to Nolan North in the game, not Uncharted, but in Destiny. Your character has this thing called a ghost, and Nolan North voiced the ghost. They replaced the voice of the ghost with Peter Dinklage.
You know what? That's fine. Better choice.
Wasn't it the reverse?
Peter Dinklage being switched out to Nolan North?
I believe so.
Well, yeah, Nolan North was the second voice actor. Mm-hmm. But there again, when we talk about like those people with iconic voices, Peter Dinklage, he doesn't automatically. He has a method of speaking, his cadence in his pronunciation, and you know what I'm saying. Like I guess it is the method of speaking. The way he talks is very Peter Dinklage. You know that it's him. Yeah. It's not like the bass in his voice or the actual sound, but it's the cadence. It's like Christopher Walken. You know, it's Christopher Walken. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even going to do a Walken impression.
It's the cadence of it.
The way he talks, you know that it's him. Whereas Nolan North just comes in and does what Nolan North does, and he's a voice actor, and he's a voice actor for so much more stuff than Peter Dinklage. And he's just like, okay, this is another job. Let's do this. Where are my lines? Let me knock this out. And he comes in and he knocks it out. And it doesn't ruin the game, but it doesn't, you don't have the same connection to that ghost because it sounds different. It's
generic.
Right.
It sounds like someone trying to impersonate the original voice actor.
But in fairness,
and even that,
I don't even feel like it was that.
I'm about to say, because I know with Silent Hill, with Troy Baker, like he tried to do his own spin and his own take. I would have been less offended if he'd at least tried to do it similarly to how the original voice actor did, to how Guy did it.
Not because then I think it's more obvious. I feel like it is more obvious if you have somebody trying to do an impersonation of somebody, if they're not that person, as opposed to at least trying to put their own spin on it. And that's just me, but I feel like if it's
I will give a little bit of leeway for him. Like that also falls on the director. It falls on the director too, because the director could give direction of, okay, this is the scene. It needs to sound like this with this kind of emotion to it. And instead of just like, here's the line, do the thing. Yeah. Like, so I know we were talking about the Fable series earlier. Nolan North did the hero of Bowerstone, If You Were a Male. He did the voices for that. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, he was the prince in Prince of Persia. Just a lot of like, trust me, if anyone who's like, I don't know, yes, you've heard Nolan North. You know who he is. He played Nathan Drake. If anything else,
I was about to say that's the most
from Nathan Drake.
He was Deadpool in the Deadpool game, Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy in the Telltale series. He's done voices from Shadow of Mordor.
No, he's Deadpool
Arkham
in like all
series,
video games.
Saints
He's
Row,
he's
World of Warcraft.
in Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel Pinball. He's Deadpool in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. He's Desmond Miles in the Assassin's Creed series. Like, he's multiple people in the Batman Arkham series. Like, people know, like, Nolan North.
I think Nolan North, Troy Baker, John DiMaggio, Steve Bloom. Who am I missing? It's got to be one more. That just like they are the voices.
In Saints Row 4, when you go and choose your voice while customizing your character, you can choose Nolan North. He specifically shows up as a voice option when you're choosing your voice as your character. You can hit.
You know who I really like in Destiny actually had an all-star cast as far as their voice acting, and
they really
that's why
Gina Torres is in there. Yo, can we?
Ooh.
We had like the whole Firefly cast up in Destiny.
But no, I'm gonna tell you who really took the cake for me, and this was the winner. Lance freaking Reddick as Zavala. That was such a great cast for that character because Zavala as a character fits so well with Lance Reddick's voice because it feels condescending and regal and commanding at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel like you should do whatever he tells you to do, but you feel bad that he had to tell you to do it. But you're going to do it because he said to do it. And I think Lance Reddick, I need more with Lance Reddick in general. I need Lance Reddick on a regular show as the lead for whatever.
Now, can we all agree, though, in Destiny, that it was disgusting that Nolan North took the place of Nathan Fillion in Forsaken? Nathan Fillion was not in Forsaken. He was replaced by Nolan North as Cade 6.
He replaced Cade 6 and the Ghost?
Yes. Why?
For all of like 5 minutes.
I don't feel like honestly.
Well,
like
I was about to say, but Cade 6 that was the whole point of Forsaken. Like, spoiler alert, but
I know, but
It's
still,
okay.
Wasn't it because he had prior obligations and couldn't do it?
honestly, I don't care. They should figure out something else. Like, there's too many times that like, like, no hate to Nolan North. He is a person. I recognize that. He has feelings.
They
He's a human.
could have gotten Alan Tudyk.
Exactly. They not just that, like, because that would have even been like, I think he's done other stuff. I know he did work in Halo with Nathan. And I'm pretty sure he did stuff in Destiny.
But at the same time, you have to capture the same kind of comedic energy that you would get from a Nathan Fillion.
But who's better than to capture that than someone who's worked alongside him for years?
And I would agree, and that's why I said like cast Alan.
Like, I'm trying to see. I could have sworn he did stuff in Destiny. Maybe he didn't.
Who's that?
Alan.
No, I would remember that.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Yeah. But anyway, like, so what I was saying with before for Silent Hill 3. So originally Silent Hill 3, instead of being a sequel to Silent Hill 1, and this is why Heather looked so different and had a different name than what she originally had in Silent Hill 1, and they just kind of like retrofitted it to all work. Originally, Heather was supposed to be her own character, and had her own storylines. Like, same thing with James coming into the town in Silent Hill 2, of having his own like personal trauma and everything that drew him into the town, and his own personal guilt and everything. Heather was facing her own things, but the storyline was potentially about topics that would have been really controversial at the time, such as I believe it was specifically either abortion, or she was struggling with whether or not she should have an abortion. It was about teen pregnancy in general. Okay. She's 15 years old, and a lot of the imagery is still in there. In Silent Hill 3.
Which one?
Silent Hill 3. Yes, a lot of the imagery is still in there that supports the theory, because it's never been like officially confirmed, because why would they? They have said though that was not the original intent for Silent Hill 3, was for it to be a sequel. It was not. And it was supposed to be, there's two different forms of Silent Hills. There's ones that are based on the cult and its history for Silent Hill. And there's also ones based on this psychology of the character being drawn in to the city. Now, Silent Hill 1 was a success, and it was based on the cult and the backstory of the cult and the storyline of the cult for Silent Hill. Silent Hill 2 was based on the psychology of this new character coming in, James Sunderland, and it did tie in with the cult. There were like things pointing to it, but they didn't think it was going to be a success the way it was.
So 1 and 2, are these the movies or the games?
The games. These are the games. So Silent Hill 2, I'm talking about the one with James Sunderland, with where they introduced Pyramid Head and where they introduced sexy nurses. Sexy nurses did not exist in Silent Hill 1. They were there. They existed as women, but they were sexualized. It was specifically played up in Silent Hill 2 as a form of James's suppressed guilt for feeling sexually attracted towards the nurses that were taking care of his dying wife. So it all ties into James's guilt. Spoiler alert, James had a very basically a terminally ill wife, or a long-term ill wife. He eventually killed her with a pillow and felt so guilty about it. He ended up being drawn back into Silent Hill. The rumor is there's more things that back this up, though, at least, that when you first start up Silent Hill 2, and you come out of the bathroom after that first scene, and his car is there by Toluca Lake, and you're about to go traverse into Silent Hill itself, the theory is James's dead wife is in the back seat or in the trunk, one of the two. That he killed her with a pillow, put her in the car, and then went off on his own psychosis because he received a letter supposedly from his wife, who is dead, in his car. And is trying to pursue. She told me to meet her in Silent Hill in this letter, but she's dead. So what's going on here? And then that's where he ends up meeting Maria. His wife's name is Mary, and he meets this girl named Maria, who is exactly the same as his wife, except a more promiscuous version. But we learn from another portion of Silent Hill 2. It's not a DLC per se, because this is before DLCs, but it's an extra portion if you got a different version. It was called Born from a Wish. You get to play as Maria. Maria exists supposedly in the city of Silent Hill as her own entity. It's a whole convoluted thing.
So separate from being a version of Mary,
she's a twin, essentially. She looks exactly like her.
So not a
sounds
clone.
Exactly like her. But she's
the clone
less
angle would have been more expected. So they did it different and didn't go clone. They went twin.
They went more twin, but like, does she actually exist? Does she not? And there's multiple endings. You have one ending where you just kind of accept what happened, but you want to stay with Mary, your wife. So you end up driving into the lake and killing yourself. You have another one where you reject your guilt from killing Mary, and you want to end up with Maria, and you leave with Maria. So there's more than that even. Of course, there's also the infamous dog ending and the UFO ending, where there's a dog that's actually controlling all of Silent Hill.
So here's a really random question based on all of that. Okay, first, real quick, how many Silent Hill games are there?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, Origin, oh god, Shattered Memories, Book of Memories, Homecoming, and Downpour. And then there's there's an arcade game, I forget the name of it as well, and I think there's a phone game.
So 10, maybe
and
11.
There's comic books too.
Okay, so there's a hell of a lot of lore for this thing,
and they're all canon. So yeah.
Okay, there are 2 movies, correct?
And there's 2 movies, yes.
Let's start with the first one, because I kind of felt like you weren't really feeling the second movie.
I like the second movie. I just hated that they incorporated Pyramid Head for no reason. He's literally in there just like operating the carousel, and I'm like, okay. I mean, yeah, you made him really hot, but
so is Silent Hill 1 movie related, or how much of the 10 stories are encompassed in
Silent Hill? The movies 1 and 2 are, in my opinion, excellent horror movies standalone, but they do not accurately represent the games, nor are they canon. They are their own kind of like, it's more based off of the games. Okay. Where it borrows elements.
Nope. You can stop there. Say less. All right. Yeah. That's what I was trying to figure out, because I was like, I didn't realize.
I made David watch the game, the movies, because I'm making him play through the games. So I'm like, I feel like you need to watch these so I can kind of explain stuff. And it's a good intro. I like the movies as kind of an introduction to the elements that are introduced.
I don't know. We might do a 101 on Silent Hill, because damn, I didn't know there was that much.
Oh yeah,
you sure this is not your favorite? I might have missed. What did you say your favorite was? Fable beats this?
Fable. Well, because it's a trilogy. I'm talking about a trilogy.
Okay, so next time we got to talk about
Silent Hill is my favorite series. It's my Silent Hill is absolutely my favorite series. Now, my favorite video game in general is Illusion of Gaia, but that's a completely different thing altogether. That's the Soul Blazer series. I think that's a trilogy, actually. But yeah, I've only played Illusion of Gaia, so.
Okay, David, you're up. What is Illusion of Gaia?
Illusion of Gaia
that's her game.
Oh, hold on. That's like the only Super Nintendo box I still own. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
Thinking about that.
When was that last Tony Hawk released, Jeff? Bro, I did not know that there was that much information about Silent Hill.
Yeah, I've never.
I need you to keep me on Messenger, bro. Just saying.
Yeah, I've never played any of those. I don't do scary stuff.
Until David started doing Sip and Spook, it wasn't my thing, and I had to do a top 5 on horror. So, y'all can check that out on our YouTube channel. But when I did the top 5 every time, I started like checking out a couple of horror movies, and I came to realize that there's a few horror movies that exist that I have seen, and you know what I'm saying, because it's kind of like you don't know it's going to be a scary movie. You kind of get tricked into thinking it's a thriller or a suspense, and then it's a horror movie, and it's like, well, okay, the movie didn't suck, so I guess I'm okay with that. But then another horror movie comes out, and it's like all of a sudden you're supposed to, okay, so I'm familiar with that box at least.
Yes.
And so all of a sudden you're like, I'm not just going to be a horror movie fan because I can't intentionally, to me, that's like looking at a red stove and placing your hand on it. I'm not going to purposely touch something that I know is hot that's going to burn me. I
have bad dreams, and I'm just, my imagination grabs hold, and like, I wake myself up, then I go back to sleep, and it's the same part of the dream I was just on.
So yeah, Illusion of Gaia. This is my only Super Nintendo game that I have the box for. I don't have the manual like that came in the box. I have the instructions like I just showed. I only have the box. I need the manual still. My brother got me the box. I have the game already, the cartridge. This is not like, I don't know what happened to our original one we had like as a family. But I bought the cartridge myself. My brother bought me the box later. I still need to get the manual. Favorite game of all time. Think action RPG like Zelda at the time. Okay. You play as a character named Will. And you have two different kind of like things you play, like scenarios you play in. You have your like kind of role play where you're running around like towns and stuff and talking to people and figuring out things and exploring. And then you have your action sequences, your action areas where you're actively fighting enemies and trying to, once again, figure out your way through. It's kind of a puzzly type thing, similar to Zelda Dungeons. But you don't just play as the main character named Will. He's a 10-year-old boy, by the way. He's going on an adventure across like lots of areas with your friends to try and figure out what happened to, God, I forget exactly. Like, I know you're trying to find your dad is part of it. And the other part of it is you're actively running away from people that are trying to get to you because they think that you or your grandparents had something that your dad got from the Tower of Babel. And you're actually like exploring like real places like in the world. Like you have the Tower of Babel, you have Angkor Wat, places like that you go through. And I think there are some mythical areas as well in there. You do fight vampires at one point. And I know you go through like Egypt because I remember you had, oh God, I hated the boss for that level. But you have Will you play as, who is the main character, the 10-year-old boy. And then whenever the other people you can fight as, you have a knight named Frieden. And then you have a kind of plasma like dude named Shadow. And Will has a flute that he hits things with, like a little purple flute. But he can also play music with it, which you need to solve certain puzzles. You learn different songs. And then you have Frieden, who's the knight. I always call him Fabio, and I have her since I was little because he's got like long flowing blonde hair.
This is on the Super Nintendo.
Yes.
So that's what, 16-bit?
Yes. This came out, I think, in 96, I want to say. It may be a different year, but it's actually part of the Soul Blazer series. But yeah, so with Frieden, he has a sword which gives you a little bit better of a reach, and he's a little more powerful than Will. He also gets different abilities. So like you get different abilities as you go through. Will has a lot of like dashing abilities and things like that to get you through puzzles. Frieden has other abilities.
Character level up and such.
And actually it was 94 is when this was released in America.
94.
And then you have Shadow, who is the kind of plasma-y character. He's got same thing, different kind of abilities. He can actually melt through floors, which comes in handy for the level he's specifically introduced in, where you cannot get, I think you're in a pyramid, you cannot get to other layers unless you melt through the floor. and that's
That
in the
is,
dungeons. It's really good. It's really good.
and that's now that is without a doubt your
my top game
ultimate
ever.
top game ever.
Yeah.
I don't even know that I have a top game ever. It would take me too long to. Damn, I want to feel about any game the way you apparently feel about Legend of Gaia.
If you want to know how old this game is, it was developed by Quintet. So if that tells you something right there.
I mean, you said 1994, and
originally 93 in Japan.
Weren't that old.
Published by
so I get it. That's
developed by Quintet, published by Enix. Before they were eaten by Square.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like before Square.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you go to like the Great Wall of China, the Great Pyramid, different wonders of the world. It's fantastic. I'm trying to see.
All right. So you got to figure. Okay, so this is what I need you to do. I need you to figure out how to get that on your stream, and I need to see you play some Illusion of Gaia.
Technically, it is part of a trilogy. It's the Soul Blazer was the first one, came out in 92, and Terranigma came out in 95, and that's the one that's after. So it's before and after. Illusion of Gaia was the only one who really picked up in North America. However, the other ones were not nearly as popular. But I remember getting Illusion of Gaia from Microplay back in the 90s.
Doggone Microplay. See, that's the beauty of being from these little bitty towns like this. Shout out to Kindness for Microplay.
Next time before the thing next week, especially when we can have Jeff on, I'm going to find at least one of my cartridges that says Microplay. I will do that for him. I know I have games with Microplay stickers on them still.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Well, folks, we are at our wrap. It is our 3-hour mark, and we appreciate you hanging with us. For those of you who made it, somebody's in there, and I thank you for being there. But as always, I want to give a shout out to these three right here who held it down and ran this live tonight. I just had a hell of a day.
I'm sorry I scared people away with my anger towards Apple.
No,
they're an evil corporation.
I mean, but apparently we got the right group because they just sat there. They took it. They heard what you had to say. They gave rebuttal. We talked through it, and we've all grown as a result. Because I promise you, I will probably never ever get a Mac now just because I don't want to support the capitalist machine. We are gonna see some. You know what? That reminds me, Dave. You got Sip and Spook coming up.
Probably not this weekend because I have a exhibition thing that I have to do on Saturday. For Grand Blue Fantasy versus. But I'm looking at next week.
Well, then I'm gonna need you to give us the details on that exhibition for Grand Blue Fantasy because I know that's another one of the titles. I think we talked about that on our fight chat on Fight School.
David's gonna teach our dogs how to play fighting games.
Not going to do that.
We'll let Roxy and Jack figure it out.
But yeah, so at least for Saturday, for sure, I am in an exhibition match with a friend of mine's over on the Raw Super Twitch channel, and I'm gonna restream it myself, so it'll be on my channel as well. We're just gonna be playing a lot of Grand Blue Fantasy versus since it's got announced at Evo and it's starting to get its scene back, so we're just gonna show the game some love like it should have gotten when it released.
Okay.
So that's the plan for at least this Saturday. And then next week is going to be a more structured thing. I'm going back to my Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday stream schedule. Tuesday and Thursday is going to kind of be played by ear, but Saturday I'm planning on bringing Sip and Spook back so we can finish up Silent Hill 2 and then move on to the next.
Whatever you want to play. We might be restructuring it. It might not be Sip and Spook. It might just be like Saturday night where we play games together as a couple.
Okay, that'll work. And if nothing else,
I might not torture David anymore, or at least not as often. I really want him to play Fatal Frame Crimson Butterfly, but that's,
Well, no, you sent me some information on the game recently, so we'll probably try to schedule some time, be it a Friday or Saturday or something, depending on my schedule, and see if we can't maybe get some group gaming going on.
Well, I was gonna say before too, Sam, like you always seem really interested in some of the games I talk about. If you're interested, let me know when you have a night no matter how late it is, whatever you want to do, whatever works with your schedule, that you want to join me with like showing you a game from like the random crap that I play. And I can kind of walk you through it. And, it'd be great to get some perspective of an outsider who does not know what these games are and is not into it like pretty much at all, to help kind of introduce it to
I mean,
people.
I still gotta figure out how to fix up my own car. So I did not forget about that. And we're gonna fix up the car. We got some Goose
My
games.
summer car. There's David and I need to play the co-op for Goose Game, but that's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, I've been following your stream for a while, and there's some really interesting games out there. So we'll make it a point real soon to get on that, and I'll stream while you stream, and we'll simulcast our
even
stream.
like the Don't Starve Together is something we can play together.
Right. And see, and that was the one you just sent me. So I'll have that here in just a little bit. And once we get that worked out and I get it figured out, installed and started up, then we'll jump on
Terraria is another one, but Don't Starve Together might be a little better. Terraria can be a little Minecrafty.
Terraria. Okay. Yeah. I remember that.
Terraria is basically 2D Minecraft with more RPG elements.
Sounds like I got to think. I don't know if I can do that in stream.
It's not bad. David and I know enough about it. We can guide you through it.
All right.
Phasmophobia would be a good night, though, to play together.
Okay. Well, as always, you and I, we will get together. We will find something. We will pick a stream, and we will make that happen. And we'll simulcast our streams. For those who are interested, come check us out. Jeff, my man, what your website? I know you've been promoting that lately. I got a chance to kind of check that out, go through. I am really digging some of the art. Actually, all of the art, but specifically, I saw some stuff I hadn't seen before. I didn't catch it on your Instagram or anything like that, but it's on your website, and that is just jpnt17.com.
Yes.
And I was on there. And I did not know that you had. First of all, I didn't know you had that much DC on your page, and I was very happy when I went to your website.
I know everybody thinks I'm anti-DC, but I'm just anti-Zack Snyder.
and you know what? You've even said it's not that you're anti. You don't have to be anti-DC to be pro-Marvel. There's nothing wrong with that. And you do have your favorite characters, and I was checking out your Wild Wild West Gambit. And I was like, you know what? I want a whole little, I need a full image on that. Because he's playing cards, but I know there's more to that image. So I want to see more on that. But I was definitely checking it out. And I see that. Is that the new microphone? Oh, you showed the keyboard. I didn't know if that was a new microphone also.
No, I got a new holder for it. It matches.
I see.
I got rid of the pop filter because the pop filter kind of clashed. This is specifically made in mind for the quartz, the Razor Siren quartz color. Okay. So it all matches. So
yes. So we do have to.
I can listen to me like pop in my microphone.
We do have to find you some pink RAM to go with your pink ears, pink headphones, pink mic holder, pink mic.
Well, I have a pink PC case, which mine and David's friend is gonna switch out. He's got he's going to upgrade my graphics card for me, and I'm just going to see if he can just switch over everything from my normal black PC case over to my pink PC case that I've had for almost a year. It's got like 7 RGB fans on it.
If you're just swapping components one to another, pick some times, and if you guys happen to be out in the Covington area, I can do that for you.
Well, our friend's going to do that whenever he switches out the. He's the one who helps David build all of our computers anyway. He's the one who fixed up David's computer there. That's why he has everything switched over to his new case.
And it's so funny because that actually looks like a monitor on his computer case, which is kind of dope.
it just reflects.
I was like, wait a minute, how do I do?
No, look, you see that? Look
right,
at that. He's got all these new shiny things on there.
Like, bro, I want a monitor on my computer case.
David, you scrolling that Facebook? Is that good? Is that your
Twitter?
Twitter? We can see the reflection perfectly in your computer.
Yep. Yeah, we're not talking nothing Twitter. We're not talking nothing.
But yeah, Twitter. Looks like David got upgraded RAM that does the RGB lights.
That's the same RAM I had for like 2 years.
So he just found his controller fancier RAM than
light.
Me. Listen, the only thing that glows in mine is the cooling thing, whatever the hell it is. So.
But you have a pink case, so that
not currently. My pink case is sitting dormant and empty and sad.
but it will not be for very long. And
It
on
won't
that
be.
note, folks, we thank you for being with us. Make sure to hit the QR code up in the corner. That will let you be able to follow us on everywhere you can find us. This is the Facebook group. You can catch us on YouTube. We got a Twitch channel. We're on Instagram, and I'll try to get a little bit more active on that. Maybe I'll let Jeff take it over because he likes to be on Instagram. We'll put David on the Twitch and let David take care of our Twitch, but I don't know how that's going to go because he got some unique opinions on his Twitch, and I love it. I don't know. Linda, you want to hop on Twitch and take care of that for us? And,
I do better with Twitch. David does fighting games and like Final Fantasy. And that's
somebody got to do our Twitter.
I do variety. So. Okay, I do variety.
Okay, so you're going to take over the Twitter, and we'll let David work
Twitch.
Twitch.
David, I don't do Twitter. David is Twitter.
Okay, well then there it is. So eventually we'll be on Twitter, but in the meantime, find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else that you can find your podcast. We got some new shows coming up, and eventually we will find somebody to record this damn episode of Flash. And if not, we'll record this shit this week ourselves because Wally West is out in the driveway and he's ready to get moving. We thank you for being here. I thank the three of you for holding it down tonight. And with that, we are out of here. Peace.